The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Tampa City Council, I'd like to call this Tampa City Council meeting to order. At this time, I would like to yield to Councilwoman Henderson to welcome our invocation. If we could please stand, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair. Yes, can I have Mr. Kingston Joshua Balloon please come to the podium? Is there a stand for him? Darlene, did you get the stand?
Oh, a stand for, oh.
Darlene, did you get the stand for Kingston? He said he's okay. Okay, no problem. Thank you. Our invocation today is coming from Mr. Kingston Joshua Balloon. He is a 9-year-old Tampa native born and raised in East Tampa. He is the son of my favorite student from the class of 2003, Joshua Balloon and Shamice Balloon, the grandson of Euless and Natalie Balloon, and the siblings of Jermesia, Joshua Jr., Alana, and Joshua Balloon. Joshua has been a part of the G3 Life Applications Health and Wellness Mentoring Program since the age of 2. Kingston is an honor roll student athlete who currently attends Tampa Bay Christian Academy and plays football for the West Tampa Spartans. Please welcome Mr. Kingston Joshua Balloon for our invocation.
Go ahead, sir.
My name is Kingston Balloon. My name is Kingston Balloon. Please bow your heads and close your eyes and repeat after me. God is good.
God is good.
All the time.
All the time.
And all the time.
All the time.
God is good.
God is good.
I'm in the right place.
I'm in the right place.
At the right time.
At the right time.
With the right people.
With the right people.
It's not about me.
It's not about me.
It's not about you.
It's not about you.
It's about the Lord.
It's about the Lord.
Lord,
Lord,
open the right doors.
open the right doors.
Close the wrong doors.
Close the wrong doors.
You must increase.
You must increase.
We must decrease.
You must decrease.
God first.
God first.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. All right.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that invocation. That was wonderful. Thank you, Councilwoman Henderson. Roll call?
Carlson.
Here.
Pertec. Here. Clendenin.
Here.
Henderson.
Present.
Vieira.
Here.
Miranda. And Maniscalco.
Here.
We have a physical quorum.
All right, I need a motion to adopt the minutes from August 24th, 2023, and the workshop and evening sessions held on August 31st, 2023. We have a motion from Councilmember Miranda, second from Councilmember Vieira. All in favor? Aye. All right, let's go through the agenda real quick. I have a memo from Councilwoman Hurtak requesting that item number 73 regarding the park in East Tampa be heard after item number 5. Then, let's go through staff reports real quick. All right, item number 71. Chief Bennett, do you have an administration update?
Do not, thank you.
All right, item number 72 is Tampa Fire and Tampa Police to provide an action plan. Yes, sir?
Yes, sir. Please.
All right, we would like them here. Item number 73, we are going to take after item number 5. Item number 74, we have a written report.
I'm content with that, given the budget and whatnot, given the budget and everything, I'm content with bringing that back another time, so I'll accept that.
All right, we'll leave that. Councilman Carlson, item 75, there's a
Yes,
written
please.
report. You want somebody here?
Yes, please.
Okay, item 75, we will ask somebody to be here. Item number 76, we
Move
have a
to-
request to continue to September 21st, 2023.
So moved.
Motion from Councilmember Carlson, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. All right, item number 77 for staff to report on surface parking lots in the Central Business District. This is a Clendenin motion,
Yeah,
Councilman?
I spoke with staff, and I think we're going to continue that, and for a date to be determined.
Okay, so we'll come up to it.
Okay.
To be continued. We'll talk about it then to give some time. Item number 78, we have a, okay, no, this, we would have somebody here, and we have a memo from Kamaria Pettis-Mackle, 78. Item 79,
Yes, please, if I may.
yes? Item number 80, Mr. Shelby and the city attorney. Yes, sir?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney. I've had the opportunity to speak with Councilman Carlson, the maker of the motion, and I've been working with the city attorney on this. And council, I'm going to be asking for a continuance, a brief continuance, because I'd like the opportunity to work further more with the city attorney. I have not had the opportunity to, up until recently, to share the work product thus far with the maker of the motion, but I would like to have that opportunity to get some feedback and also to distribute it to staff so that, to get feedback also from the administration, and also have the opportunity for city council to have that distributed timely so you will be able to discuss it and respond to it. So I'm asking for either a continuance until the 28th of September or the first meeting in October.
October 5th.
Okay.
Continue October 5th.
We have a motion to continue this to October 5th by Councilman Carlson. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second from Councilwoman Hurtak. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you,
And on
council.
81 and 82, or let's take them one at a time. Number 81, there's a request to continue this item to October 19th. May I have a motion? Motion from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor?
Aye.
And item number 82, there's a request to continue to December 7th. Motion from Councilmember Miranda, second from
Viera.
Councilmember Vieira. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to pull from the consent agenda, item number 29 and item number 32.
All right, let me look at this real quick. Item number 29,
Logistics and asset management.
okay, we can pull that. We'll hear it under staff reports. item
And
number-
32, I need the CFO.
All right. And we need the CFO present for item number 32, and we'll put that under staff reports.
Mr. Chairman?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Would that be early on or at the?
We'll take it, instead of administrative update, we'll take it up
those
at that
items?
time.
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Chair.
Yes, sir?
I would like to pull item number 19 for a separate vote. I would recommend that we continue this until after contract administration has presented to us their proposals for transparency and accountability. Otherwise, if staff agrees with it, they can let me know and I can continue it. Otherwise, I'll be voting no for it at this time, and I'll explain why we get there. Thank you.
All right, when we get to the consent agenda under Public Works, we'll take a separate vote on it. We'll discuss it then, so.
Did you want to pull for discussion or you want a
Yes.
separate vote?
Separate vote?
Separate vote?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so I've highlighted that. All right, may I have a motion to approve the agenda and the addendum to the agenda? We have a motion from Councilmember Miranda, second from Councilmember Vieira. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's begin. We go with item number 1, Councilmember Vieira. This is for the Police Officer of the Month.
You're missing the October.
It's a real pleasure to be here, and I wanted to again salute Councilwoman Henderson for the youngster who came here to pray. And G3 is a great organization. Say hi to Ronnie. Good, yes, sir. Great organization. But it's my great pleasure here today to do the Police Officer of the Month. Like I always say, we always do Police Officer of the Month because it's a reflection of our values as a Tampa City Council in supporting those who support us and supporting those who stand up for us and who take life's biggest hits for us. As police officers and also as our firefighters and our first responders. We are here today to honor Officer Charnel Baker for the great work that she's done, including in something that we all support, which is community policing and making sure that our police officers are an increasing part of our community. And so to talk about her, I'll invite Chief Burkhardt to come on. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, Council. It's my honor to present our Officer of the Month, and when you hear her story, you're going to be wowed, just like all of us were. And it's not just us locally, nationally, she's getting recognized for her efforts. So Officer Charnel Baker has played an instrumental role in the expansion of the department's community-oriented policing efforts through the strong relationships she's built within her community, specifically our youngest residents. In the spring of last year, 2022, Officer Baker developed and launched a program titled Shielding Our Teens, a 3-phase design program to guide teens onto the right path and help them find employment. Simultaneously, the program also helped to build a positive relationship between the police department and our youth. The program's 3 phases consisted of 1, building a relationship with officers, interview preparation, and then lastly, the interviews themselves. Officer Baker didn't just foster a stronger relationship with the teens, she also collaborated with local businesses and solicited donations to include professional attire, offering the teens jobs, and some of them were offered jobs on the spot. The pilot program was such a success that this past year, in the summer of 2023, more employers and teens participated, and Officer Baker was able to secure a number of grants to fund the program. She presented Shielding Our Teens at a national conference where now other law enforcement agencies are looking to implement a similar program in their communities. In addition to Shielding Our Teens, Officer Baker's partnered with Papa John's for their summer citation program. Yes, we're giving citations to the youth, but it's a free pizza citation, which rewarded younger residents for good behavior with a citation that could be redeemed for a free pizza. Her dedication to inspiring the next generation and making a difference in our community is not limited to just when she's in uniform. During her spare time, she mentors students at the PACE Center and volunteers in a variety of community organizations. Her definite innovative strategies, dedication, and relationship with the community, Officer Baker has made an impact in the lives of hundreds of our youth and our next generation here in the city. For this, she is truly a public servant, and that's why we've selected her as our September Officer of the Month. Congratulations.
And before we have you come up, ma'am, I know we have some members of the community here who would love to show their appreciation for you. So come on forward, folks. Here's all your gifts.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How you doing, sir?
Morning, Council. Mike MacArthur, Steps Towing Service, and Officer Baker, congratulations on a job well done. It's people like you that make this community so great. So on behalf of Todd Steps and Steps Towing, I'd like to present you with a gift card to Outback Steakhouse and a night out in our company limousine. Take some time off, enjoy it.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. I'm Mary Dillon on behalf of the Strass Center for the Performing Arts. Thank you for your service and your work with the young people in our community. On behalf of the Strass Center, we have 2 tickets to our next Broadway show and a couple of drink tickets for you as well to enjoy. So thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Good morning, Council. Jill Witecki with Tampa Theater. Officer Baker, thank you so much for what you do. On behalf of the theater, we'd like to present you with an annual membership to come to the theater. And if ever we can supply some movie tickets for those summer citations, please let us know.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Good morning, Council. Brian Ford with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I just wanted to start by saying thank you all for your extended efforts on working through this year's budget and all that you do for the community. And also thank you for this program. Officer Baker, Brian Ford, I got a little delayed message, so we have something in print, but we have a tradition over at One Buck where people go over and above. We provide a game ball. So this isn't your game ball, but I'd like to give you my information and have you and maybe your family join me over at One Buck, and we'll have another little ceremony where I can give you yours at your convenience and your schedule permits next week or the week after. Just give me a holler. But tremendous story. Thank you for all that you do and the sacrifice that you and your family put through.
Thank you. I appreciate
Congratulations.
it. Thank you.
Can't give you this one.
Good morning, Mary Lou Bailey. I'm here on behalf of Zoo Tampa. I volunteer on the board of Zoo Tampa, and we'd like to present you with an annual membership to the zoo for you and your family to enjoy, and some swag stuff for you to share. But I wanted to thank you. Your story is particularly important to me. I have 2 teenage daughters, and I know it's really important to kind of get them surrounded by goodness and light early on, and so that's what you're doing, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everyone who serves, and again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good morning, Officer Baker. Good morning, Council. I'm Grace Gonzalez. I'm here on behalf of the Gonsmart family and the 1905 family of restaurants. We just want to thank you for all that you do. Thank you for opening the door for me this morning. Thank you for everything you do for the city of Tampa. We want to present you with this gift card to any of our restaurants, any Columbia restaurant location. And of course, there's no hurry to use it, but during the month of September is our community harvest. So 5% of anything you buy at our restaurant will go to any charity of your choice. You can write in the Pace Center or Shielding Our Teens, anything you'd like.
Awesome.
Hope
Thank
you
you
enjoyed.
so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Steve Michelini. I'm here on behalf of a couple of different restaurants. And first, we have Bella Brava in the Midtown section of town, and they're providing you with a gift certificate for $50. You can enjoy yourself over there. On behalf of the Yummy House China Bistro, they're providing you with a $50 gift certificate. You can enjoy yourself there. And also for the Meat Market in Old Hyde Park, $50 gift certificate. And also for the Chicho Restaurant Group, another $50. You can enjoy yourself there. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It is my great pleasure, ma'am, to present to you from a very grateful, I'll get over here, Tampa City Council for all of your work that you've done, all of your sacrifices that you and your family make for us. A Tampa City Council commendation. We're very, very proud of you, and we're so grateful for your service. God bless you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. There you go. And if you'd like to speak on the
Good morning. Like young Kingston said, God is good. Shielding Our Teens started off as just a vision, something that I just thought about overnight after talking to my nephew about some things. My husband has been truly supportive of me in these late nights and all of my crazy visions, and I really appreciate him for that, and also the team that I work with that helped me facilitate it. But most importantly, when I brought this vision to staff, the support that they gave me means the world to me. And I'm so happy that we can continue this program, and I hope to help hundreds and thousands of kids continue to make the right choices in life. Thank you.
Came from the heart. God bless you.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to go to council members, but I just want to make an announcement that I'd like to take item number 3, which is also TPD related, right after this. And if you'd like to stay, because it's a very special story, you know, I mean, all TPD, we can do that. Councilmember Miranda.
Thank you. It's a wonderful thing what you've done. And, you know, when you look at life, what you have done is give people a hand up, not a push down. And in today's society, everybody's trying to climb the same ladder. And when you do what you've been doing for some period of time now, helping people make their attainment of what they want to be, what they want to be a true value to themselves and to society, it's something that not too many individuals do. So for what you've done is way and above being a police officer. It's from the heart, and it's from helping people that you know that sooner or later it's like a fork in the road. You can take the right fork or the left fork.
Absolutely.
And you make sure they go on the right fork to the right way to wherever they want to be. You got to give somebody hope. You got to give them not only hope, but you have to tell those young kids, and without them knowing about it, that they can attain whatever they want to attain if they put their mind to it. And for that is what you got the award for. Thank you for what you do and continue to do on a daily basis. Congratulations.
Councilwoman Henderson.
Yes, Officer Baker, I'm so glad that I met you and discovered your program. You are an amazing woman, and when it comes to serving kids, the future generation of Tampa, that's what really matters, and it should matter to everyone in this room. So thank you so much for what you do.
Councilman Clendenin.
Good morning. You know, opening minds opens doors, and so it's great to be able to have this type of program. And you know, I'm very supportive of any type of intervention. I helped when I was a youth counselor when I was a younger man for kids that were in trouble with the law, and I know that it can make a tremendous impact on people's lives. But I have to also comment that some of my greatest visions come after some really late nights and sometimes great nights. So that's always when your best times happen. But yeah, my best thoughts come in the middle of the night sometimes. So thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Your work with teenagers is so important. I heard that you work with PACE, and I used to do that when I was a teacher, and it's I mean, reaching those kids when they really need to. You have to have a heart for teenagers. It's a very special demographic, and it sounds like you not only have the heart, you want to grow the program. So not only have you started it here and been successful, but you're encouraging other departments throughout the country to do it. That's amazing. I'm thrilled that you were able to get this commendation today. Keep working on it. If there's anything council can do to help you in that, please make sure you let us know. And, you know, we're very proud of you, and I can tell your husband behind you is incredibly proud of you too. And, you know, it's always nice when you have a partner who's willing to support you in anything you do. So you are blessed and lucky, and congratulations. I look forward. You look very, very young, so I look forward to hearing more from you as you work in this department. So thank you for your service.
Thank you, ma'am.
Councilmember Carlson.
Thank you also for your service, and thank you to your husband and family for supporting you. Thank you to the administration for bringing you forward. Hopefully you think this is a compliment. I would call you a social entrepreneur. You came up with an idea, and you proposed it, and you know what all that means is that you're an entrepreneur within a government agency or nonprofit, that you're focused on the community, but you're focused on finding innovative solutions for the community. And you identified a problem, you found solutions, and it sounds like you're still innovating and working hard. And besides celebrating the work you've done, the fact that the chief and Dr. Chief, sorry, and the administration have brought you forward means that this organization also celebrates social entrepreneurs, and we need more like you, and I hope you'll become a case study and example for others. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And congratulations, and thank you for inspiring us this morning. Thank you for the sacrifice that you make when you put on that uniform, the sacrifice that your family makes when they send you out to do the good work in the community. You're an inspiration to us, to the community, to the youth. You're lifting people up, and you're providing them a path to a better future and showing them good things and positivity. So thank you very much. This is very well deserved, and we look forward to all the great things that you're going to continue doing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to welcome Councilwoman Henderson, who's got a special presentation. Again, this is TPD related, so everyone is welcome to stay and hear this next item.
I brought my tissue with me. Oh my gosh, I hope I don't cry. You put them.
If we could turn on the overhead.
There it is. Yep. Already put it down, darling. Okay. Is it the right side for you all?
Yeah, put it on the big screen.
Where's Mr. Leo? Is he there? Mr. Leo, please come up. Oh my gosh, is there a microphone? It's just, I've never been up here before. Hello, council. Oh my gosh. Dang, I'm crying already. Okay, y'all. So, when I interviewed with the police during my during the campaign, for some reason, I went to the PBA and I told them the story of a burglary in 1976 at my home and what happened. A police officer arrives, of course he does his duty, and then because all of our Christmas presents were stolen, I don't know, maybe he can tell you the story, but he went back to the police station and he collected money from his fellow coworkers and gave us the best Christmas ever. At the time, my father was laid off from the steel manufacturing company that he worked for. And I know it probably hurt him a lot to have help come from the police, but for me, it was very significant. The officer on the scene was Mr. Leo Pally. Where are you?
I'm right here.
Oh my gosh. So we got this idea, as I learned to be a part of this council, that we give commendations to people. And this one is 47 years later. So let me just read it so that I can stop crying. In gratitude and recognition for unyielding devotion to the highest ideals of law enforcement, is presented to Mr. Leo Pally, a retired officer of the City of Tampa Police Department. commended for turning a response to a burglary during the Christmas holiday of 1976 to Carver City residents Asbury and Gladys Henderson and their 4 children. His achievement then and now exceeded those expected for his post, for his act of compassion, honor, engagement of his fellow officers, and the inclusion of his family in this process. For a holiday made most memorable for 4 children who are now productive members of the community. Unanimously presented 47 years later with great pleasure by the elected body of the Tampa City Council on the 7th day of September 2023. This picture you see that's my beautiful mother. She kind of looks like me, actually. And Mr. Leo giving her some groceries. There was some the chocolate quicks, this quick stuff. Yep. You remember that? I was so excited that was on the table. I remember that. And this is a smaller one, but that's the article. I didn't know this at the time, but to make us feel comfortable, he brought his daughters. Right? Are those your daughters?
No, those were members of the...
Somebody else's kids?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I think that was done, I guess, maybe to make us feel comfortable, which I thought was really great. And that's your city councilwoman right there with the arrow. And my sister Sonia and my brother Greg. So anyway, those are just a couple of the pictures I just wanted to show you. This was an article, of course, back then called the Tampa Tribune on December 25th, 1976. So... thank you so much. And if you have anything you want to say, or how do you do this? No, now we have some other gifts for you. So let me just go.
So thank you again, Councilwoman Henderson, and good morning, Council. It's my honor to stand before you today and recognize the positive impact and long-lasting impression an officer can make in their community. We heard a story earlier, we're hearing one now. As Councilwoman Henderson shared, Leo Paley was that officer for her and her family, and we are here today to recognize his service to our community. I've made it clear that every member of the Tampa Police Department should hold the philosophy that each situation is to be treated as an opportunity for community-oriented policing. I expect every officer to get to know their community members and their concerns so they can be the kind of police officer who takes proactive measures in their community. I want our community members to see and believe that every police officer and TPD employee represents and understands the community that they're serving. Officer Leo Paley took this approach in 1976, and the impact of his actions and his concerns for a family in need continued to be felt almost half a century later. As shared by Councilwoman Henderson, then Officer Paley on Christmas Eve in 1976 made a profound impact on members of our community. He did not just complete a call for service and drive home at the end of his shift. He showed genuine concern for the community that he served. He demonstrated a true heart of a public servant and an act of community-oriented policing before that term was even commonplace. The Tampa Police Department Community Policing Award is presented to an officer or employee who has made an exemplary contribution to the department's community-oriented policing efforts. Their contributions improved the quality of life for citizens and made Tampa a safer place to work and visit. Back in 1976, this award did not exist. I'm confident that if it did, he would have received that award back then. So today, I have that opportunity to recognize and commend his actions and provide him with the award. So I'll read it to you. So it's the Tampa Police Department Community Policing Award to Detective Leo Paley, and it says for your community-oriented policing actions on December 24th, 1976, and the exemplary contributions you provided during your law enforcement career that improved the quality of life for our community members and made Tampa a safer place to work, live, and visit. And in addition to that, it comes with a citation that you'll have. So it's my honor to present this to you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And in addition to that, we also have a bag of other TPD goodies for you. Okay? So, the floor is yours, sir.
All right, thank you very much, I appreciate it. I never thought when this happened back then that this would come to fruition today, but I will say one thing, it was a joy working in that neighborhood. I always had a good time, and I always had the respect of the community. And I only thought that it was only fair that I give back to the kids, which, as you can see, have turned out to be very productive individuals. Again, thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
John Miller with Tampa Police Benevolent Association. Just want to thank you, obviously, for your service, the impact that you made upon not only Councilwoman Henderson, but all the members of the community that you came in contact with. We strive every day that our members carry on the same legacy, and we want to present you with the plaque that we give all the officers of the month.
Thank you very, very much, appreciate it.
I'll hold it. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Good morning, Council. Mike MacArthur, Steps Towing Service. Congratulations on an accommodation that's well past due. So on behalf of Todd Steps and Steps Towing, it's time for you to buy a gift for yourself. So here's $200 worth of gift cards. Go out there and buy yourself something nice, or pass it on and keep doing what you do.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Hi, good morning. Mary Dillon from the Straz Center. On behalf of the Straz Performing Arts Center, I want to say thank you. And I wrote down here, it's never too late to say thank you for your work in this community. There's a couple of tickets here for our next Broadway show, and I appreciate your
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
In December of 1976, this body had recently voted to save Tampa Theater and was getting ready to grand reopen it the following month. Our current CEO was 6 years away from taking the position that he still holds to this day. So even though this is 47 years overdue, I'd like to present you with a membership to Tampa Theater to come see us over the next year, and I promise it looks just about like it did back then.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Morning.
Good morning.
Detective, unbelievable story. And we have something that we share. 1976 was the first year that our team started in the NFL. So I have a 1976 creamsicle hat that you can buy. Thank you for your service and all that you did for the community. Councilwoman Henderson, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. There's my contact information. Here's some other good throwback creamsicle stuff that relate to back in 47, but as was previously mentioned, it's never too late to say thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your
appreciate it.
sacrifice and your service.
Thank you.
And the package.
Good morning, still Mary Lou Bailey. Congratulations for your service, and I hope you have some free time in your retirement to go see some animals at the zoo. I'm here on behalf of Zoo Tampa, and there are 6 passes in here, as well as some stuff to, I'm showing it the wrong way, sorry. I'm not a good Vanna White. And some fun stuff to share with kids in your life, which I imagine you still have quite a few youngsters that you influence. You're a real role model. Thank you for your service.
You're welcome, thank you.
You're awesome.
Thanks.
Come on, let's keep going. Officer Bailey, I'm Grace Gonzalez on behalf of the Gonsmart family and 1905 family of restaurants. We'd like to present you with a gift card to enjoy paella, sangria, fresh oysters, anything at any of our restaurants. Please enjoy with your family. Thank you so much for all of your service.
Thank you.
Morning.
Good morning, sir.
You getting tired yet?
No, I'm retired, so I got plenty of time.
I've got a story for you. You've got a story, I've got one
Okay.
for you.
I'll listen.
During a mass, Monsignor Higgins, who's since passed away, he was famous for his short sermons. And so going through the mass, and then he got up and he was getting ready to give the sermon, and everyone's looking around and said, oh my God, it's going to be a 30-minute sermon. And so they're ready to walk out or take a break or do something else. And so he got up and he said, do good and do no wrong. And then he sat down, and everyone's looking around and said, well, where's the rest of the sermon? And then he continued with the rest of the Mass, and everyone's still trying to figure it out. So after the Mass, everyone's out there greeting him and said, Monsignor, what's up? And he said, well, I was thinking that you'd heard enough of me already, So I was gonna reduce it to just a few words. And so one of the things that he came up with was what we call the Monsignor Higgins Challenge. And it says, do more for your community than it asks of you. Give more and take less. Look to the future and make it better than the past. Don't be afraid of failure. Success is built upon it. Be grateful for what you have, so many others have less. Never forget that you can make a difference. Maintain faith and courage. They're the fundamental elements that will sustain you. Look for the best in others, and you will find it in yourself. Strive for excellence, instill hope, empower the right, vanquish the wrong. Love, care, and nurture your family. That's the foundation of your future generation. Give thanks to God every day that you have what you have. Pray frequently and live honestly. I have a few gift certificates for you on behalf of the Bella Brava in the Midtown section, a $50 gift certificate. Make sure you take these certificates with you when you go. The Yummy House China Bistro, a $50 gift certificate, again, and go enjoy yourself there. Meat Market of Tampa in Old Hyde Park Village, enjoy yourself over there, $50. And Chicho Restaurant Group, another $50. So, and I congratulate you and thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, sir. I'll go to other council members shortly. The impact that you've made is lasting almost half a century later. And to see Councilwoman Henderson, how emotional, because she never forgot that, what you did and how you went above and beyond and how she brought you here and her sister's here with her. And it's very, very special. So thank you for your example and by leading by example and what you've done. We're all very grateful, and clearly Councilwoman Henderson is, because almost 50 years later, she never forgets. Councilmember Miranda.
Thank you very, very much. As we're going back in life, you realize that little things mean a lot. There was a song like that once, but I'm not going to sing it. But what you did back in 1976 was from your heart and from what you witnessed in life and what you continue to do your whole life through. So when we help somebody by giving a hand up, not a push down, I say that often, means a lot to somebody, and it takes sometimes 50 years to recognize publicly what you and most police officers were willing to do. And for that, I say congratulations to you, congratulations for the people around you, and it depends in life on who you are, maybe not, but it's who you hang around with. There's an old saying in the old Ybor City, don't tell me who you are, tell me who you hang around with, and I'll tell you who you are. So by that example, you have done everything right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you very much.
You're welcome.
Councilman Vieira.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, Councilwoman Henderson, for bringing this forward. It's very touching. Thank you for speaking from the heart on something so personal publicly. That takes a lot. And sir, just, you know, what you did about 47 years ago, I guess it was probably one of the many, many acts that you and people like you do. When I think about cops, I think about people who are protectors and who stand up for people who need standing up for. You stand up to the bullies, you stand up for people who are trying to harm other people, and you try to bring right into situations where you need somebody who's strong to bring in that right. And in this situation, you saw a family who was victimized during Christmas, a heartless criminal act, and you stepped in and did the right thing. You know, for you, what you did, it was another day in your job. But people like me and all of us look at it and we go, that's a pretty special thing. But it was just one of many things you did in your job. If we could have folks come here who, just from you, and we got a lot of cops in this room, but just from you, who benefited from the acts of compassion that you did and the acts of decency and courage, we'd probably fill up City Hall. And it's true for every cop in this room when y'all retire. So just thank you. Thank you for coming today. And Councilman Henderson, again, thank you for doing this. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you're an example of one of the reasons why I'm such a supporter of our law enforcement, our firefighters, and all of our first responders. So frequently in your normal day-to-day job descriptions, for everybody that's standing here and the folks that are working on behalf of the city of Tampa today out on the streets, that you all encounter people frequently on what could be their possibly worst day. And, that's something that's, we all have bad days, but you guys end up inevitably are there on most people's worst days. And we expect that of you all. But when you rise even above and beyond that, so beyond your job description, to be able to make that choice of being kind and compassionate and reaching out and making the difference in someone's lives, it's incredible. And I know you probably had a lot of pats on the back at the time, but it's still 50 years later, it's still well deserved. And I'm glad you are here today as an example to the next generation of law enforcement and first responders that come out about what the difference in someone's life that you can make by the actions that you take and just a normal day when you wake up and go to work. Thank you so much.
Councilwoman Hurtak.
Thank you. I think it's really appropriate that today we had Officer Baker before, and how showing that just one small thing you do, and pretty much for everyone here, that anything you do, how you interact with people really stays with them and can make a huge difference in their life. And I know that Officer Baker, I know she's internalizing this too and thinking of all the changes she's making, and just want to say thank you so much for your kindness, your compassion, which I'm sure you brought to the job every single day, and that there are many other families who have been touched in the same way that Councilwoman Henderson and her family were. And you are a role model for others, and I hope everyone today, regardless of who you are, just walks out and it's a good reminder. Do good all the time. Just do your very best. As Councilman Clendenin said, officers and first responders often walk into people's worst days. And so thank you for everything you've done and the compassion you show. And I'm sure you continue to do, even as you're retired.
Councilmember Carlson.
Thank you also for everything you've done. A few years ago, there was this term that was popularized called paying it forward. And obviously, you're a great example of paying it forward. I only know 2 of the kids that were affected. Another one is over here on the side of the room. And both are great examples of contributors and leaders in the community. And whatever impact your intervention did to help inspire them is greatly appreciated, because now the community is benefiting from them and the rest of their family. Thank you to Councilmember Henderson for bringing this up. It's a personal story, but also I hope we'll all take this as an opportunity to remember all the people that helped us, and go back and thank them, even if it's 50 years later. And then, as Councilmember Vieira was saying, there are probably hundreds like you who might not get recognized for 50 years, and so just want to thank everyone who quietly helps people every day, and know that look at the 2 sisters in this room and the great impact that one person had on them, and thank you to everyone for the things you're doing now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, we're going to take a 5-minute break because we have a lot of people outside. They're going to come in as others go out.
Bartek. St. Denis.
Here.
Henderson. Vieira. Miranda.
Here.
And Maniscalco.
Here.
We have a fiscal quorum.
All right, next up, we're going to present a commendation. Councilmember Miranda, this is for Mr. Spearman and his department.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, City Council, for this opportunity to give some awards to people who have really worked very diligently in our purchasing department. The first award is for the whole staff of the purchasing department. Would you, before I go any further, just have these good faces here, young people that have worked so diligently. I'd just like for them to come up and say their name to this in the system so that people know who you are.
Just say your name and your title.
Cheryl Aldridge, Certified Purchasing Methods Analyst.
Morning, Council. Omar Jimenez, Procurement Manager.
Constance Andrews, Senior Procurement Analyst.
Penny Hammock, what is my title? I know. 27 years I've been with Burger King.
Good morning, Council. Anthony McGee, Inventory Field Supervisor.
Good morning, Jill Elder, Purchasing Technician.
Michelle Esteves, Procurement Specialist, been in purchasing over 30 years.
Good morning, Council. Lovina Woodard, been in purchasing for 4.5 years.
Good morning, Council. My name is Celeste Gibbons Peoples. I'm one of the certified senior procurement analysts, and I've been with the city almost 38 years.
Good morning, Council. I'm Beverly Jusak, and a purchasing technician.
Good morning, Council. Erin Berg, Certified Procurement Analyst.
Good morning, Council. My name is Katrina House. I am a certified procurement analyst here with the City of Tampa Purchasing Department. I will be an employee here for almost 22 years come November of next year. And my working title is also the Job Order Contracting Administrator.
Good morning, Council. Deanna Fagard. I'm the Purchasing Systems Manager, and I've been with the city for 9 years.
Anyone else? Well, again, it's my honor, and I'm going to ask Mr. Spearman in a few minutes to make remarks on how these things happen, just because this is a recognition of receiving the prestigious Annual Achievement in Excellence Procurement Award of 2023, presented by the National Procurement Institute. In other words, for 17 years in a row, and that's an awesome task to do anything for 17 years in a row. But the folks behind me, the good city employees under the leadership of Greg Spearman, have had this distinct pleasure. In fact, when you get something every year for 17 years, sometimes you forget you got it because it's like almost normal, but it's not normal. And that's what I want Mr. Spearman to talk about, how this happened, because all these good individuals, and you have somebody here 38 years, 22 years, and it's a job that is very difficult. It's not a simple thing to be procurement officer or anyone in the purchasing department and to do the job that they do, to try to save pennies, and pennies make dollars, and dollars make your salary. So here's where we're at. Mr. Spearman, will you please tell the council and the citizens of the city of Tampa what it's all about and how you achieved that award?
Good morning, City Council. How are you? And thank you, Council Miranda. And I also want to acknowledge Chief of Staff John Bennett and the Mayor for their support of the purchasing department. So these are the men and women that actually make the things happen day to day. We're the ones that purchase the heavy equipment, the vehicles, the uniforms, the diesel fuel, the gasoline, the office supplies, the medical supplies that actually go on the ambulances, the fire trucks, the paving materials, you know, all those kinds of things that make the city work and run and operate. The solid waste truck, the CNG that runs the solid waste truck. These are the men and women that make this happen every single day in the department. Many of them are certified, and others who are not on their way to become certified. So I'm going to ask Deanna Fagard to really give you a bird's eye view in terms of what goes into getting this award, because she is a part of the team that actually helps put the application together. I also wanted to acknowledge Michelle Blizzard, who is our executive aide, who could not be here today because she tracks all the data and compiles all the application information to submit for this award. So Deanna, would you tell them a little bit about what goes into it?
Yes, good morning. Deanna Fagart. It's an extensive application process that we go through each year. They change up the criteria every year. There are some continuing themes, but the general belief is they want you to follow best practices. Those are established by NIGP, the National Institute of Government Purchasing. They evaluate us on things like our training programs for our employees, training that we do with our customers, with our vendors. They look at our solicitation process. Are we using the best tools? Are we using electronic methods now? You know, just staying up, continuous improvement year over year. You know, our reporting metrics and, you know, how we utilize those to improve our processes and all of that. So they evaluate, I mean, it's a couple hundred, I think about 130 pages or so I think we submitted last year. It's on a point basis, and we can go through the criteria and decide what to submit. We have to submit documentation for everything to show what our actual process is. So we have to get 100 points, and we work through that process every year, and it gives us a lot of opportunity to make additional improvements. It gives us ideas about, you know, how we can be better every year.
Thanks, Deanna.
Now that we know exactly how it's done, it's not an easy process. And for 17 straight years, the folks behind me that work in this department have made themselves known to the world, because it's very difficult to get this award for 17 years. And on that behalf, I'll present this to Mr. Spearman, the purchasing director, and also everybody who works in the department is entitled to have a picture taken with Mr. Spearman afterwards in the lobby outside. But I want to thank you all from Tampa City Council, from everyone in the city, all 400,000 people or so that live here. Congratulations for the work you're doing for the city of Tampa. May God bless each and every one of you. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you very much. And just stay right here, because we have another one that's, and this award is an honor presentation, a recipient of the Distinguished Service Award that's been presented by the National Institute of Government Purchasing in Louisville, Kentucky. And Mr. Spearman, this was given to yourself. I know you've been with the city of Tampa sometime 20 years or so or better. And the service that you've dedicated to each and every one in the city is way and above and beyond what your contract obligation was when you first started years back. But 17 years for that award, and then you're getting the award from the Distinguished Service Award, and congratulations to you for the work that you've done. You deserve every bit of it. And again, please explain to the audience, because these only happens once, it doesn't happen every year you get one of these. And so I want to say thank you again. I'll give you the presentation, and we will now hear from you. What is the Distinguished Award that you received?
Good morning again, Council. Greg Spearman, Director of Purchasing. So the Distinguished Service Award is awarded by the National Institute of Government Purchasing, and it's based upon all the contributions that you have made to the profession in terms of training, education, certification, mentoring that you do to others who are in the profession, many of which are behind me, and others who are with other entities where I've served, the City of Savannah, where I was Director of Purchasing. Also the City of Charlotte, North Carolina, Mecklenburg County, where I was Director of Purchasing. It also includes contributions to the profession in terms of the workshops, in terms of the seminars that you have conducted at the national level, where we come together and we learn, we exchange ideas, and we bring back those ideas to basically make our operation better where we are. So a group of individuals who've known me down through the years said, okay, I think we need to go ahead and submit Greg Spearman's name in the application. I had nothing to do with it. I didn't do this. So three good friends. It was a surprise to me when I got the call from Rick Grimm, who was the president of NIGP, that I'd been selected for this award, and was presented this award in Louisville, Kentucky on, I think it was August the 22nd. So It was a very refreshing kind of thing to have my peers throughout the country and the industry recognize me for my contributions to the profession, and I'm just so ever grateful for that, and also for the support of the Chief of Staff and the Mayor for making it possible for me to attend the conference and actually receive this award. So thank you very much, Council.
Mr. Spearman, your reputation speaks for itself. You have a stellar team, a stellar department. This is obviously not the first time you've gotten this award, but over and over and over, which speaks to your good work and the team that you have with you. You make us proud here in the city. You know, I'm glad to know you, all the good work that you've done, and again, you know, congratulations. Councilmember Carlson.
Yeah, thank you, and congratulations to all of you. 4 years ago, the reason why I ran for office is I wanted to bring good government back to the city of Tampa, and I ran on the platform of bringing good government back to Tampa, and I kind of came out swinging when I got on council, and Mr. Spearman was one of the first people to call me because he wanted to make sure that I knew of his high standards of ethics and of his department, and I appreciate that. And he went through the process of what his department does, and he also explained the difference between that and contract administration and real estate. And we went through all the case studies of concerns I had, and he allayed my concerns. But over the years, this city council also has pushed for more processes and more transparency, and he's responded, and he's also been even more proactive. And in particular, we pushed 3 years ago or so for more MBE participation, and he makes sure on every briefing that that's the first thing he tells me because he knows how hard we pushed for it 3 years ago. The MBE participation comes and goes, I think, with political leadership. It's not an ethical issue necessarily, but it's important for our community, as a lot of people say, and I can tell you that he listened to City Council's concerns, and he's right on top of it, and I love to be able to brag to people about the case studies that he and his team give us. So thank you so much for your leadership.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you and your whole team. I really, every time we talk about the very same things, but just knowing a good manager always makes sure that his team is, you know, learning and growing. And I see, not only do I see you doing that, but I see the pride in their faces here today when they were explaining what they were and that they were certified. And I think that's wonderful, because that's really how you create a good team, is you encourage everyone within your team to grow to the best of their abilities. And that's how we produce a good product. And so just want to thank you for your leadership, and thank all of your department for the work that you all do. You can tell the pride in your work.
Yes, sir.
You know, you all are up here today because of your great achievements and what you do for the city, and being recognized for that. But I think you serve also as an example, not to the people that are in this room or to the people that work in the city, but to the citizens of Tampa, because quite frequently, and we see that a lot in our discussions on council, and we see it in the public forum, when people start talking about this faceless thing called FTEs. You know, they talk about these people that hold these government offices or these government jobs, and it's invisible to them, and sometimes they don't see the humanity and they don't see the work that goes behind these things. And a lot of times, it's not sexy work. It's not something that's out there in front of people's faces, and it's the unsung heroes of every good functioning body, whether it's a private business or the government or whatever agency it is. It's folks like you that keeps the clocks on time and keeps the engines running and make sure that the city functions the way it's supposed to function. And you're up here before us getting recognized for your outstanding work, but I just want to also recognize that there's countless others behind the scenes that are working here today for the city of Tampa tirelessly, and it can't get lost on us that it's not just FTEs, it's people, and it's people that are dedicating their life to public service and making the city of Tampa a better place to work. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, congratulations to the entire department. As a new councilwoman, I get excited at staff when Mr. Spearman would present the minority business participation or explain why a product costs, $2 million, or how someone won a bid. And I know that you all are all behind the scenes working to make sure that those things happen from an analyst perspective. And I just really appreciate it. And I'm learning so much from just this department alone about how we purchase things for the betterment of our community. So congratulations on another award, well deserved. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations to all y'all. I always enjoy working with many of y'all, including Mr. Spearman, who's such a nice gentleman. I'll sometimes see him along Cross Creek, and such a nice guy. And y'all's professionalism and the great work that you do is evident in this honor and in so many other great things in just the work product that y'all give. So I hope that y'all are very proud to be part of your team. I know that you are, and you guys are led by a wonderful leader, and all y'all are leaders in so many ways that people look up to. So thank you.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, Council.
Again, thank you, Department. Thank you, Mr. Spearman. Appreciate it very much, Mr. Council members and Ms. Council members, and all of you. God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you very much. All right, next up, Councilman Beer will present Mr. Walter Smith and his family.
You sure? It's a great pleasure to be here, sir. So we are in the midst of Deaf Awareness Month, and there's about, it's amazing, the state of Florida has about 800,000 individuals who are deaf or are significantly hard of hearing. About a third of them live in the Tampa Bay area. The Tampa Bay area has one of the highest concentrations of people who are deaf or hard of hearing, so it's such an important issue. One of those individuals who has had hearing challenges throughout his life is a young man that many of us are friends with, whose parents are wonderful people, Yolanda and Walter Smith, who are here, just proud parents, very, very proud parents of this wonderful young man. Whenever you have a child and you find out that they're going to have a challenge, whether it's a neurological challenge or a physical challenge, it's a big hit to a mom and a dad. And you think about the different things that you can do to make accommodations through a lot of hard work in your life to make sure that your kid is going to be able to have that pursuit of happiness that you want them to have, and that all moms and dads want them to have. And that's something that Walter and Yolanda have been so open about, and always coming from the heart on their son's journey. Walter III here was born with major hearing difficulties, including bilateral hearing loss. His parents were told from early on that he would have a number of challenges. Walter and Yolanda, with the help of their family, worked hard with a very strong faith in God Almighty to make sure that their son would have great opportunity. We stand here. Young Walter just graduated from high school. I was at his graduation. Let's give this young man a round of applause. And he graduated with a 3.7 GPA, and he is on his way to a career, last time I heard, helping animals. He loves animals. He loves animals. And he is going to FAMU. And if y'all know the Smith family, they are a big FAMU family. So I wanted to invite this wonderful family to just come up here because, again, they're one of many stories of individuals and families dealing with hearing loss, but they come from a family that this city council and this city has a lot of affection for, including Walter here and his late father, who we just passed, as you all know, an honorary street renaming. Very excited about that. So I'll shut up and I'll give the floor to you guys. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Walter Lee Smith III, and it is my pleasure to be here today to talk about deaf awareness. And I want to take the time to thank Councilman Luis Vieira, thank you, for inviting me here to talk about deaf awareness. And now, through deaf awareness, we should pursue or promote the inclusion of deaf and hard of hearing individuals, as well as their understanding. And we should provide them with more equal opportunities. Consider, there's a deaf individual who loves music, like me. I enjoy listening to music all the time. And by promoting deaf awareness, people can ensure that they have access to music through sign language interpreters, caption lyrics, or visual vibrations, which allows us to fully enjoy and participate in the music experience, just like everyone else. Now, when we talk about languages and culture, we need to pay close attention to the fact that schools back in the early 20th century did not allow deaf Black people like me to go to school and learn American Sign Language. But the Black community came together with a strategic plan to develop our own Black American Sign Language and school as a result. And in order to take part in this movement, people must understand the unique experiences and culture of the deaf community, as well as the advocacy for accessibility and the challenges of social barriers. Again, thank you, Councilman Luis Vieira, for inviting me to talk about deaf awareness. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, before we hear from, good job, dude. You're gonna run for office. And we got people standing. And before we hear from council, Mom and Dad, did y'all want to say anything? I know Walter's a little bit shy. Did you want to say anything? And I'm being very sarcastic. Come on up, man. Come on up. And this man is among friends. He's among friends.
Let me say thank you very much, council. Thank you, Tampa, for helping to raise this child. It is a community. When they say it takes a village, it has been a community that has stood behind this young man. There are all types of opportunities that are out there for other children who do not have the same type of accesses to the types of things that they need to be successful. And so I ask you, council, to be aware, to continue to fight the good fight for the people who are less fortunate than Walter has been. And I ask the community to also be aware and educate yourselves about the types of things that go on in the deaf community. There are different dimensions to this thing, and we got to pay attention to it, and we need to do everything we can to make certain they have the types of resources they need to be successful and not just be relegated to sitting on the sideline and watching life go by. It's not fair. It's only fair to make sure they have the types of access that they need. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Smith and Mr. Smith and Mrs. Smith, for being here today. That was very important, very encouraging, very inspirational what you said. We all know your father very well, and your grandfather, a legend, former president of FAMU.
Yes.
That's right. So it's not just, there's a deeper story. So again, thank you. You're a sharp young man. You have a bright future. You have a great family and a great community behind you. Councilman Miranda, would you like to say anything?
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your comments. You know, when you overcome anything in life, and certainly you have done that, it's something to behold on the future. You have your future in your own hands. In other words, you took it and you did what you had to do and conquered it. And in doing that, the spirit of life, it's much easier to go forward than to take a step backwards. And now you got the Smith second, and Smith the third. And pretty soon, in 4 or 5 years, we're going to have Smith the fourth. So at FAMU, you're now a rattler. And, you know, them rattlers up there in the Seminoles, boy, you can't mess around with a rattlesnake and somebody trying to scalp you at the same time. But these are the things in life that you've done, and you overcame something that was not easy. And life itself is not easy. So if you can do this, you can do anything you want if you want to do it. Take one step forward, never take a step backwards. Thank you for who you are.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Walter Smith III. First of all, let me give you 2 claps. and a stripe. Rattler blood is already in your body, so I know you're going to do well at the College of Love and Charity. I know your grandfather, if he were here today, he would be so proud of you. He was actually my president who welcomed me to Florida A&M University. What I want to say about the deaf awareness is that I am so thankful that this is being presented today. I have a sister who is 10 years older than I am, and our family struggled with her deafness and not knowing what to do, and so she did not have all of the services. It broke my heart when she told me she sat in a classroom and was given a coloring book and not able to engage in the learning process. I wish my mother would have sent her to St. Augustine, but she didn't know how to do that. But nevertheless, now I've just seen how the deaf culture operates. You all are a very special culture, and I just appreciate the fact that you have a voice and that you're using it to make everyone aware that you all are just like everyone else and you deserve all the tools and access to be anything that you want to be. So,
Yes, sir.
Well, you definitely got to stay away from those FSU Seminoles, because look what they did to Charlie with the scalping, and only because your dad ran faster, they only got half of his. So it's you know, I don't even remember the first time we met. It was in your kitchen, and I don't. It seems like you're only like this tall, and you're this smiling, just genuinely nice guy. I remember it like it was yesterday. And you know, I don't know if you know, but when I chose to run for this office, your dad was my very first phone call that I made to seek his support, and he gave me his support. So he was my first endorser, and he was the first person I called in the city of Tampa to ask for his support, because I'm such an admirer of your father and your grandfather and the entire Smith family. I absolutely stand for, and I know the councilman to your left is also a champion of inclusivity in every sense of the term. And you know, as we fight to make Tampa so every child that shows up at a playground or shows up in an experience should have an equal opportunity to share in the great wealth and generosity of this country and this community. And I thank you for standing here and bringing it to everybody else's attention. And I look forward to hearing from you again as you take this life's journey and to Tallahassee and whatever your next step is. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I want to say thank you personally. I grew up and still have a severe hearing loss, and it's something that I simply, you learn to live with. But the different strategies and techniques, I mean, I think about the closed captioning here today, and all the different things that have helped me as I went through school and learning. And so I just want to say thank you for continuing to be an advocate for that. And it's so important because there are still so many people that you can help through your advocacy. And it's just one more layer of who you are, allows you, when you grow up with a challenge, it teaches you empathy, and it teaches you to look out for others, not just from where you are, because eventually it's going to be, it probably already is second nature to you on how to figure out how to get past your challenges, because that's what we do as people, and you've obviously done that very successfully. But it will help you in life already, thinking about others, and I'm sure your parents can say that that's already happened. I can see it in you and who you are and the time you took. I mean, you're a brand new college student, but here you are in city council in your hometown instead of being up at college. And so it shows how important this is to you. And I look forward to hearing what you do next. And I know, even if I don't hear it from you, I'll certainly hear it from your dad. So thank you again, and congratulations and best of luck. What is your major?
My major? I want to major in animal sciences.
Excellent, excellent. Well, congratulations, and I look forward to seeing what you do with that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Very impressive presentation, speech, and to be expected, because you're stepping into a name that is, known all over the world. And I've traveled all over the world, met a lot of people, but your father and grandfather are two of the very most impressive, brilliant people I've ever met. And among others, to know that they stood toe-to-toe with Nelson Mandela, and your grandfather helped redesign the university system in South Africa. I mean, they've had such a huge impact on Florida and also in Tampa, but internationally as well. The great thing is you already know that there are no limits for you. You've already pushed through all kinds of boundaries, and so if there's any way that we can help you in the future, we'd like you to come back to Tampa, please. We need great leaders, and whether you want to sit up here one day or start your own clinic or nonprofit or whatever you want to do, please let us know, because we admire and respect your family so much and would love to help you along the way to become one of the great leaders of Tampa. Thank you.
Thank you again very much. Thanks.
Thank you, thank you.
We have Nelson. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. I figured some people are curious about this strange dude sitting behind us. I wanted to introduce him. His name is Cade Krentz. He is an intern in my office. He goes to USF, studying political science. And maybe one day, I don't know if it'll be up here in the city, but maybe one day he'll be sitting on a dais somewhere else doing government. But I wanted to thank him for coming up and participating today and watching how government works from this perspective. And I look forward to working in the office and helping you guys out with some of the constituency services stuff. So thank you.
All right. Next is item number 5, Nelson Construction. We have some representatives here. This is a motion by Councilwoman Hurtak. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Council. Richard Mutterback, Director of Contract Administration. I do have Will Stock with David Nelson Construction here to give an update. Before Will gives his short presentation, I just wanted to kind of give Council and the public an overall update on where the project stands. So this was almost a 3.5-year project, and we're about 59% through that on time. We're almost coming up on a 2-year mark since the notice to proceed. And it was overall about approved $38 million project, and again, we're about 56% utilization on that budget as well. So, Will. Thank you.
You that okay?
Yep, if we can bring it up on the big screen. Good.
Okay.
Oh, thanks for zooming out.
Yep, go ahead, sir.
All right, good morning. I'll be as brief as I can here this morning. On Frierson, between Florida and Central Avenue, the sod placement is almost complete, and we have the top lift of asphalt scheduled for September 18th.
Okay, good.
Moving up to Hannah, from Central going to Nebraska.
Pull that down a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
So Hannah between Central and Nebraska. We were able to open the Central Hannah intersection to the north, east, and west intersection right up there. We were able to open that before school started back, allowing for student drop-offs and pickups as well as bus access. And we have finished the utility work on Hannah, and we're continuing to build the road towards Nebraska as we speak. We're on schedule to have the first lift of asphalt installed on September 18th, and we anticipate having Hannah paved and open all the way to Nebraska in early October, if not before. On Central Avenue, north of Hillsborough, so looking from right here all the way up to Hannah. I'm going to start on the south side of the Hannah intersection, so up here between Hannah and Paris. Work there is stopped until we get clearance from the Department of Health on the 6-inch water main. Once we receive that clearance, we will tie over the new 6-inch water main and dress the roadway and parking lots for asphalt. We anticipate having Central open to traffic from Hannah to the intersection to the south. So just from the Hannah intersection to the north side of Paris. If we get the clearance in time, we'll include the parking lots on both sides. If not, we'll at least get the Central itself to the south side of the church's driveway by October 18th, or I'm sorry, by early October. That would also be paved the week of September 18th. We'll be finished installing the stormwater trunk line from Comanche to Hannah. So right now we're working near the Idlewild intersection, making our way up to Paris. And that'll be finished in the next couple of weeks. The final utility that we have to install is the water main, and right now that's already been installed from Hillsborough to Henry. So from Hillsborough up to Henry, and then also from Hannah down to Paris. So we're working on the last leg of it right now from Henry going up to Paris as we speak. The roadway has been mostly rebuilt from Hillsborough up to Henry, and also from Hannah down to Paris as well. Once we finish installing the new water main, we get it tested, cleared, and put into service, we'll be able to disconnect the old water main, which is running through the middle of all of the stormwater curb inlets on the east side of Central. This will allow us to remove the old curb inlets, install the new curb inlets, and then finish building the roadway to prep it for asphalt. Just as an overall global look on this area, we started this work back in March and stated that it was going to be about 13 months in all. So right now, if you're out there, you can see the amount of work we've made so far. So we're definitely on schedule, if not ahead of schedule, for that area of the job. We're also working on Caracas right now, between Taliaferro and Nebraska, so between I-275 and Nebraska. We've started installing the stormwater rock storage chamber at the end of Caracas in Nebraska, so right here. The rock and perforated pipe storage chamber will take about a week to install. We'll then install the curb, the driveway aprons, and the sidewalk that surround the chamber. The storage chamber will then be covered with permeable pavers in another few weeks. Those are the same permeable pavers that we have in the parallel parking spots over on Central, right now between Frierson and Wilder. Once the curb is installed, we'll also be able to install the final lift of asphalt from Taliaferro to the laundromat. And this is part of the paving operation we'll have beginning September 18th and moving forward for about a week. Going into Southeast Seminole Heights neighborhood, working on Caracas east of Nebraska. The 60-inch stormwater pipe is almost complete to 11th and should be finished in the next 3 weeks. This will require us to shut down the Caracas 11th intersection for about a week towards the end of next week. An alert will be going out before that, and immediately impacted residents will also get door hangers. Water main installation began this week, starting at Nebraska, and will be moving towards 11th. So starting right here, right now, near Dignity Memorial, and working its way to the east. On 12th, from Caracas going down towards Osborne, the 24-inch water main is currently being cleared by the Department of Health from Caracas to New Orleans. As soon as we get that clearance back, we'll tie over that portion of the water main, which is scheduled to occur at the end of this month. In about 8 weeks, we will be detouring and closing the Osborne 12th intersection to install all the utilities at one time and then rebuild the road. That intersection will be closed for about 2 to 3 weeks while we do that work. In summary, we're paving quite a few streets starting in about a week and a half, starting on September 18th and moving forward. We're paving the top lift of asphalt on Frierson. St. Paul Church's parking lot off of Central will be getting paved. We'll be milling and resurfacing a small section on the east side of Frierson in front of the dentist's office, bringing that up to grade. We'll be paving the Cherokee Idlewild intersection. We'll be putting down the first lift of asphalt on Hannah from the elementary school east to Nebraska. Central Avenue from the Hannah intersection to the south of the UMC Church driveway will be getting paved. The south side of Paris from Central to I-275 should be getting paved. And also the top lift of asphalt on Caracas from Taliaferro to the laundromat. So there will be some significant changes out there visually in the next 2 weeks.
Thank you very much. All right, Councilwoman Hurtak, do you have any questions?
Yes, I noticed that you're getting the, that it's FDOT seems to have approved and you've seemed to get the inlets for Florida Avenue. I've seen at least one of those installed and one that you're working on, correct?
Right now, we're having an issue with rebar out there. We've been waiting for a couple of months now for rebar to come back from the fabrication shop. It has some bends that we can't physically bend by hand, so we have to utilize a fabrication shop for the type of inlets that DOT wants out there. So we're going to be switching fabrication shops here next week so that we can actually get the rebar in a timely manner.
Okay, wonderful. And then the other checkup is I wanted to see how things are going with, I mean, you told us about Hannah and Central, but one of the big concerns was the Hampton Terrace Community Pumpkin Patch that will be opening soon at the end of this month. And this is their biggest fundraiser, and they're very concerned about it. And I wanted to make sure that if you could kind of give us a little bit of an update on where you expect to, if that you expect that to be open in time for pumpkins.
So we've been in close contact with Cassie from Hampton Terrace, as well as with the UMC Church directly. I actually had a conversation with them this morning about the pumpkin patch and upcoming events. So again, they're sitting right here on the intersection of Hannah and Central. So Hannah on Central from Hannah going south to the south side of the church's driveway. Even if we don't have the DEP clearance back on the water main to pave the 2 parking lots, at a minimum, we're going to be paving Central itself so that we can allow access to the church's driveway to the south, and that'll be paved the week of September 18th.
Okay, wonderful. I
So-
just wanted to make sure we covered that out
Right.
loud. I heard you say that, but I
Correct,
appreciate it.
On Hannah, again, from where we stopped paving last time at the edge of the school at I-275 going to Nebraska, we're putting the first lift of asphalt down on September 18th, and the plan is to have that open by October 3rd, if at all possible. We're gonna do everything in our power to get that open by October 3rd when they get their pumpkin delivery, so that we're not impacting that operation at all.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, anybody else with questions?
Just to say thank you, it's very difficult to remove and replace at the same time. And when you have, if everything was closed, it'd be fine, but you got individuals that have to make a living, you have people that have to use the streets, so you're always under the gun of the eye and everything else. So I want to just say thank you for doing what you're doing and continue doing the work that you're doing, for not only for the city, but for the whole area, because the city belongs to everybody. Thank you again for what you're doing.
Thank you, Boone. Anybody else? Well, thank you for coming here. You've been very good at keeping us updated. You've been very good at taking us on tours throughout the neighborhood to show us firsthand the construction. And we thank you for listening and for responding and for all that you do. So thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, we made a motion to move item number 73 to come after number 5. This is regarding a request from Councilmember Hurtak about the park in East Tampa. Councilwoman Hurtak, if you'd like to kick it off.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, so we got feedback from the community that they were not able to ask questions or make comments at the final presentation. And I think it was great that Hannah, that Nelson was here, because we've now had to have Nelson come every 2 months, or every month actually, to give us updates. So we then are that conduit for the community. We would prefer not to have to do that with this project, but unfortunately, the community is here in force today because they were not able to speak at that meeting. And so that is a giant concern. There's also a concern about the actual plan itself not being what the residents asked for. So I would love an update, and then I would really love to hear from the community so that we know how we're going to move forward.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Kim Jackson. I'm with KVJ INC PR. I do PR and community engagement for this park. And the first slide I have up here is all the partnerships we created when we first started this project. We reached out to Middleton, Potter, Lockhart, Young, and Williams so that we can have them each send out information to the parents and the children to get attendance. We did WTMP, we did Sean Shaw Show, we did Michelle Patty. We also did, Albert Lee. We also did Walter Smith's Sunday Forum. We did the Florida Sentinel. We did Miss D's Impact Magazine. We also did Candy Lowe's Black Business Bus Tour because she has a large following in East Tampa. And before each of the 4 public meetings, well, 1 and 2 were close, so we did a double flyer. I was blessed to have 10 to 12 African-American students who all attended at one time that attended Fair Oaks Park. They were now high school students, and we canvassed the neighborhood and passed out 1,200 flyers, even in an extreme heat in August. And we also had the president and vice president from Fair Oaks Association come and canvass the neighborhood, Tonette and Rhonda. And we spoke with all of the directors of the parks in East Tampa, and we gave them flyers, and they were tasked with speaking to their seniors groups and also speaking to the kids and their parents who came through. So we made sure that we got all of the information out that was needed. And all of the vendors that we use for all of our, were all minority businesses, caterers, bakers, sound man, video. And we also did update emails to remind them that the meeting was coming. And we did through CVent, and we also did the ones through the neighborhood list that we were given from community engagement.
Thank you, Kim. Good morning. My name is O.T. Delancey. I am the managing principal for Strategist Project Support Services. Strategist is a partner to Skanska on the East Tampa Rec project. Our responsibilities include construction management, EBO, managing our EBO efforts, and managing our workforce development efforts. And another part of my role was to facilitate the format of our community outreach meetings from a standpoint of engaging the staff for dialogue about what was to be designed for the project. I want to talk a little bit about our format that we've kind of shared from the very beginning. The idea was we do 3 input meetings, total dialogue, community engagement, take that information, and then come back to a 4th meeting, which would be a design reveal. And in the design reveal meeting, we brought the design team in to provide presentations regarding the culmination of the dialogue and to present the design. And then once the design was presented, we put murals on the walls in the event space, and then we opened the floor we availed ourselves to the community for dialogue and for questions following the reveal. The last meeting was a little different than the first 3 meetings because the first 3 meetings were dialogue and input. The last meeting was the design reveal.
And we also do that design reveal format in all the communities that we've done projects for, and we do that because the next phase is starting. So we want to make sure the community knows and get a chance to meet the people who are getting ready to build this park that's so dear to them. And we do that in every community that we go in so that they have a chance to get to know our design team by face and by person and be able to tell them one-on-one what it is that they want to see or what they like and what they did not like. So they were able to speak, they just didn't do it in the same format.
And so we bring everyone on our team, on our pre-construction design team, in the room so that we could field any types of questions and any types of comments that that the community may have.
Councilwoman Hurtak, yes, ma'am. Councilwoman Henderson.
But the reality is that you didn't offer a chance for people to just ask general questions, and that's the concern, because that's exactly, the community wanted a chance to ask questions, not to individuals, but as a group, to provide their input, again, their reaction, but also to ask questions. I got people emailing or calling me and saying, hey, I wanted to know about this or that, and I had to explain it to them because I had gotten a presentation, and they did not feel that they were able to ask the questions they had. I'm concerned about this because this, to me, bodes forward with the communication strategy we're going to have. I'm not at all happy with the plan. It is not at all what the community wanted. So I'm concerned that we're going forward with a plan that is not appropriate for the community. We're spending $41 million on this, and it needs to be right.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Well, first and foremost, they were given the opportunity to ask whatever question they wanted to ask to the people who actually build this park. And so,
And design it.
And design it. So maybe because they didn't get on a mic and say it out loud for everybody to hear, but we did not cut anybody's chance. They had a chance before the presentation started, and they had a chance after the presentation started. The only difference is the form in which they delivered it. That's the only difference. And when it came to the design that was there, it isn't just what the community want. We had to band in what Parks and Recs wanted. So what was set, the guidelines that were set in the RFP, and what Parks and Recs wanted, and what the community wanted, and this is what we end up with. We don't make any decisions on what shows up on this design. We take everything that everybody says, and we let Parks and Recs and them, they make those decisions, not us.
I don't know, so I'm confused as to, the format was always presented and was always clear, and at the beginning of the conversation with the community, and the opening presentation before we presented the design, explained what was about to take place, and then that we were open to dialogue and questions. So I don't understand how that got twisted, because, and I think maybe there is some confusion in the format. The first 3 meetings were intended to be full dialogue between, it's an intake process to gather, a gathering process. And in the last meeting, which we clarified along the way in the first 3 meetings, we told them the last meeting was coming. And that last meeting was formatted a little different because we had the design to be presented. So we did open it up for questions.
And in every radio show that I went on, I explained how all of this was gonna be. I explained this to all of the directors of each one of those parks so that they can explain it to their groups and everybody that patronizes their parks. The only difference I see in here is they didn't get on a mic and say it out loud. But we were all there open to hear whatever it is that they wanted. And we explained to them at every meeting, we take what you want and what Parks and Rec want, and that's gonna be what the design is. And we have to follow both of those leads. And so there was gonna be a compromise, and nobody was gonna get everything that they wanted. So this is the compromise.
Certainly, but I was at one of those community input meetings, and the only reason I wasn't at the design and reveal meeting is because that was the night for talking to the community about the budget. And that was the overall more important thing. I know Ms. Henderson was also there at that at the budget meeting.
No, I was at the Pharaoh's reveal.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
you
was
were
at the
both? Okay.
reveal.
But the idea is that they were able to ask questions, and the input meeting I went to, they only were able to ask a small handful of questions before it was closed. So I'm concerned because, again, the community has asked that they wanted to have that input, and but basically I just want to hear from the community and hear what they have to say.
Well, they were able to at each meeting write down what they wanted to say. And I scanned all of that in, and I sent it to Parks and Rec, and everybody on the design team had a copy. They were able to speak by mic at the first 3 input, and that's what we explained it as. And then at the final reveal, there were 2 sets of murals. We had 8 people on each side, and plenty of the people went up and talked to them and had their questions answered, and then we did it afterwards. The only difference is we didn't have a mic for everybody to hear your question. That was the only difference. So we did not deny anybody the right to ask any questions, give any comment, or any input.
Councilwoman Henderson.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Kim, sir. I actually attended a few of these meetings. Some of them occurred during the February meetings occurred during the campaign, and I attended the design reveal meeting on August 16th in lieu of attending the Beyonce concert because I was so excited for Fair Oaks. But I just want to also say there's something that you left out, Kim. At the deadline of community input,
Oh, yes.
at the deadline of community input, it was extended even more by the administrator Wynn, who continued, she and Sharisha Hills continued to get feedback from the community after the deadline. And so it changed the date of the actual reveal, am I correct?
Well, we actually put comment boxes in each one of the parks in East Tampa.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you reminded me of that. So after the meeting on the 14th, it pushed it to the the 31st as the final deadline. But we did not have to change the reveal. Our team got together and just put in extra hours to make sure that we stayed on schedule, because the goal is to get this done in 22 months.
Right.
Because people have been waiting 800 years for this part to be redone.
Yeah.
Because people, and I explained at the second meeting that these park projects are normally 4 years. We cut it down to 22, which is less than 50% of the time. And in order for us to stay on this schedule to get it done for 22 months, because some people were like, they thought we should have been done faster, but I said, hey, you can't just throw stuff on top of any kind of part, because one, you need to know if those, that part of ground can support a building. Some parts can't, some can only do in parts. And I said, with this history of these graveyards popping up, we want to know what's under that ground, because we don't want to have years later talking about we have something sitting on someone's relatives.
Yeah.
So we do want to make sure our due diligence, we're still on top of that. And also, when our team goes to the park to do whatever work they need to, they speak to Kareem, the director, and let him and the Parks and Rec staff at that facility know that we are coming, and that so that we can show respect, especially when they have the kids there. And then also, one of the biggest things they came to me is, if we were to shut that building down, they would have to go somewhere else, and that would cause transportation issues for a lot of people. So I went back to Chuck and the team, and they agreed wholeheartedly. That building will stay up until the actual building will be built and is open for them to come, so that there is no interruption in services at all.
Okay, thank you. Let me just, I want to be brief, and I want to measure my words carefully, because I'm speaking, to the community as well when I say this. In attending those meetings, I could hear the anxiety regarding not even trusting the city of Tampa to get this project done. So a lot of effort was going into this. And when I met with Skanska briefly at one of those meetings, he was so excited about this project. He actually even said that he wanted it so bad because the community deserved it. And so I know that the community is anxious, and I know that there's a lack of trust in some regard. As far as input, after the reveal, the word disrespect was used. The process, if you didn't like it because you didn't ask a public question on a microphone, that's fair for you to say that you didn't like it, but I did not witness disrespect. Disrespect is a different kind of incident of saying that they didn't care what you thought. They gave you a process that allowed you to give feedback. It was just different from what you wanted. And when he closed out, no one at the meeting pushed back and said, well, I want to ask a question right now. No one did that, so it came back after the fact. And it only came with one person coming to council and being upset about bird poop on benches and how she felt about the park and things like that. And that's fine. And one letter from your leader, Ms. Fran Tate. I'll say her name to make it public. She wrote a letter to all of council addressing this disrespect. I'm your District 5 representative, and no one else reached out to me and said that there was some sort of disrespect. So you have a councilwoman up here saying, and this is really important what I'm about to say, no one likes it. They're upset. XYZ. Let me tell you what's going to happen. If you've been paying attention week after week after week, people coming for Fair Oaks, this $41 million project. People on the dais thinks it's over budget, that it shouldn't be done. They didn't approve it, but they did. And so what you're doing is, what's going to follow, please pay attention, is that there'll be a motion because you don't like it and you're not happy. So let's just take some more time for you to say what you like and what you don't like and what you need and what you want. And now you're 22 months, you're eating into that. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing if you do this. And so I'm just putting it up front for you right now. Whatever you decide to say, whatever complaints that you want to make, you have every right to do it. But what you're also doing is putting your project in a position where if they have to come back to council and say, we need $6 million more because it took 6 months longer for us to redesign this plan because the community wasn't happy, and now it costs $6 more million, you need to pay attention to who's going to vote for those $6 million. So I'm just telling you, this is just the way that I see it. Week after week after week, go back and watch the tapes, people. There are people not happy that this project is being built. They say that they are, and then but yet you got to listen to what they're saying. So now all of a sudden, oh, the community is so upset. Who is this community? Who are they? Who are they? If they're so angry that you want to delay this project so that you can complain a little bit more. What happened in this particular community in terms of they care about this project so much that not only did they pay the kids to give you the information to come out to see, hey, let's hear from you. Let's hear from you. How many of you gave input? I don't know. The data is right here. But what they sent the kids passing out the flyers. They ordered catered food from Conan's twice and other restaurants, black-owned restaurants, to feed you, to come in to bring up what you want about this project. So now it's time to get the project done. Check this out. If you don't like the color or you don't like the bench or the tree over the bench, you know what? You have a right, but you're getting something that nobody else has. Nobody in the city of Tampa has a park like this. Not even Riverfront will look like this. And it actually was designed by you. This space is amazing. So yeah, they put two buildings together and built that atrium. But that gives you an opportunity to have two events. You have a beautiful, welcoming atrium, a side for the kids, a side for the seniors. I'm telling you, I implore you, whatever you decide to say, stick around and listen to the motions, because I will not vote to delay this project because you are mad about something that you don't like. Because you're putting your project in jeopardy after decades of waiting. Now, I just want to, I love you all, Jazzy Seniors. I know you're excited. You're here in droves, but be careful. Don't get played.
I have something else.
Because I'm telling you, if you got a lot, if there was a lot of emails about you mad, you don't like it, I only received one email. Is my time up? You get 5 minutes. Okay. I only received one email and one person came to council. So these whole bunch of people that's mad, you know, whatever. I'm just telling you. Let me settle down a little bit because my passion is coming through and I'm thinking I'm still in the classroom in high school, but I'm up here on the dais. But I'm just telling you that you have a right not to like something, but what you're getting is bigger than what you don't like. Don't delay your project. Don't require that they have to come in here every month to give reports and hold up or delay the project so that you can get something that you think that you want. This delay will cost money. And $41 million, no one else has a $41 million park coming to their community. And let me just add this one little tidbit and I will be quiet. This park has the opportunity, this development will, I'm in communication with someone about a grocery store. I don't want to even reveal that right now because it's in the early, and I know that's something else that you want because there's a food desert, right? Okay, well, that park, if a $41 million park can be built, then certainly a grocery store can come behind it. But if you got to put input about the kind of shelves and the kind of doors and the kind of this and that and whatever, if you got to decide every little detail about what's going to happen, you know what a developer's going to say? That's okay. That's okay, because you have to go through too much and do too much for a community. I'm just telling you, be careful. Don't get played. And I'll just leave it at that.
Councilman Carlson, did you have your mic on, and then Councilman Hurtak?
Yeah, one thing, I appreciate everybody coming out to give us input on this today. I appreciate everyone coming out today, and appreciate the consultants coming out as well. I just want to set the record straight on this project, because a lot of misinformation has been passed around. When we started on city council, when many of us started on city council 4 years ago, members of the community, many of the people sitting here in the audience came before us and said the community center at Fair Oaks had rats in the ceiling, it was a fire trap, it didn't have computer services, it didn't have the services that we need. Jazzy Seniors came before us. And so we as city council asked for a report on it. And part of it was led by my former colleague, Orlando Goods. And when we asked for an update on it, the Parks Department came and said, well, twice in the prior 8 years under the previous mayor, the city staff had said, we recommend that you renovate the building for $375,000. And the prior administration twice said no while they were building a $32 million park at Julian Lane. So we were frustrated by that, and we as city council and CRA board, decided to have a community meeting at Fair Oaks, and about 100 people showed up, probably many of you in the community. The mayor's office, trying to one-up the city council, brought a video from the mayor and played it at the beginning. And I remember Bishop Patty in particular was upset about what was in the video. And what the video said, and they'd also leaked it to the Florida Sentinel the day before, but what the video said is the mayor came on the video and said, I've already decided to renovate this building. I've already put in the $375,000. And so please give your input to city council, but I've already decided to renovate it. Any of you who are in the room remember what the reaction was when the mayor decided that she was only going to renovate the building. The people in the community booed and said, no, we deserve a new building. This building is a fire trap. Look, it has bars on the windows. The administration also argued with us about whether there were rats in the ceiling, even though the community said that. And then finally we got staff to admit that they did catch at least one rat. So the community was right, and by listening to the community, we got that looked at. So then we as city council started pushing for a new building, and the administration fought, pushed back on us, and then 6 months later, they came back and said, oh, well, it was always in our plan to create an $18 million regional park. And my question was, well, why did you fight with us when we said that that we should build a new building instead of just renovating? And why did you try to preempt us on that? So then they came back, and without even telling city council, they decided to add $23 million. So my question my request to Skanska and their representatives, and ideally staff, is this project started with city council. So if anybody wants to play dirty politics and fight about where it started with city council. The only reason why this park started to be renovated in the first place, it was not because of the administration, it was because city council listened to you all in the community. And when the mayor presented that she was going to renovate the building instead of replacing it, you all booed, and we listened, and we pushed the administration to do something. And they did. And so now what's happening is that because the administration wants to take all the credit and push city council aside, they can have the press conference that they want. They don't have to invite us. But they need to not play dirty politics and say that we're not involved. And so I would ask also that Skanska and their representatives give city council updates on it. Don't just invite us to the meetings, but give us updates on it. We're getting updates on other projects all the time. This is the most expensive park in Tampa's history. And they didn't even tell us. We found out by accident that they had increased the price by $23 million. And that's not an issue with the community. It's an issue with the administration not being transparent. And the community deserves to get what the community wants in that park. So number one, I'd ask for more updates. Number two is I want to remind the staff and the consultants, Florida state statute prohibits city staff, government employees, and their representatives, which includes all the people working from Skanska, from getting involved in political activities. It's a misdemeanor for you to get involved in political activities. And I would ask the city staff, but especially the representatives of Skanska and Skanska, if somebody from the city comes to you and asks you to go on the radio on Saturday and trash talk my colleague for the question she just asked, I want you to say, no, it's a misdemeanor, because the community deserves to be listened to. And if any one of us gets feedback on any project, we deserve to bring it before the community. And it's illegal to play politics, especially dirty politics. You can't do it with taxpayer money. Thank you.
Councilwoman Hertog.
Thank you, and I'm sorry, but I got phone calls. Jazzy seniors told me that they don't like the park. I don't blame them, but guess what? We don't have to wait to fix it. I talked to the representatives. We were on a Zoom call, and I said, here, just do this, add a hallway so that the seniors can absolutely have one entrance instead of 6, that they don't have to share bathrooms with the general public. It's a very simple fix. It's not going to take going back to the drawing board. Now, I'd love to hear from the seniors, but that's the input that I got, was we want our own separate space. And so we were able to do that just by simply adding a wall and door to that atrium space. It can be done. It doesn't need to be completely redesigned. The other concern that I heard from the community was that there's no outdoor space for kids to play other than a playground. There's no basketball court. Nothing for kids to do when the center itself isn't open. And so I asked Skanska simply to make the pickleball court a multi-use court. That's not going to take a redesign. It's simply just a change on a plan that's not going to affect the timeline at all. I think those are two very simple changes that do not require any extra time. They seemed very amenable to that. Now, is it what I wanted exactly or what you wanted exactly as a separate building? No. But I believe it's a decent compromise. And I don't believe it will take any more time. But when I went to those meetings and listened to you, and when you all came up to me on the campaign trail, what you wanted was a separate space. I'm going to advocate for what you want. But also knowing that we have a, having two separate spaces is also more expensive. And as they explained today, being able to keep the other center open while we're building this is also critical. But having a definitive line between the two spaces, one door that goes into the Jazzy Senior area, one door that goes into the other area, I think is a fair compromise. I'm really looking forward to hearing what else you have to say. But no, this is not going to be stalled by motions. That's not going to happen. We're going to move this forward, but we're going to move it forward just as you all just sat through that Nelson update. That's the best update we've had. We had contentious updates before. So I promise you, if you need those updates didn't move a minute, it hasn't stopped the project at all. In fact, what those updates have done is actually help those projects stay on task because they know they have to come in front of us. We reach out to the community before every one of those Nelson meetings. You heard me, it was about a pumpkin patch. We're at that level of detail and focus on the community to make sure what we're doing is what the community, that they're given the information. One of the great things that Nelson has done that I would encourage the Skanska project to do is have an email update. Every time they do something different, open a street, close a street, start a new phase of the project, there's an email about it. Another thing that they do is they actually have a monthly lunch meeting with the heads of all the neighborhoods that are affected by the community or by the project. Another thing that they have done is hold community meetings every month or two so that people can come out and they stay as long as it takes to answer every single question. And that is something that, again, community's not happy. They don't come out necessarily when they're thrilled, but they get the answers they need. The best thing they've done is knock on people's doors. When their street would be affected, their doors would be knocked on to have that actual personal connection. So no, I don't think it's overwhelming to ask that when they come up with the community plan that it includes all those aspects.
Thank you, Councilmember Clendenin. Then I'll make a comment. We'll go to Ms. McGregor in public comment.
Actually, this is kind of directed at you or for city staff. This is more educational because one of the things that surprises me about this presentation, of course, a lot of the stuff that was done before I was on council, but it's surprising. I actually almost feel kind of inappropriate to have the contractors up here getting the brunt of this because it seems weird to me that because staff is who's accountable to the city leadership. And so it seems weird to me that we've contracted out public feedback, PR, to a private company to have to stand before a political body and answer for these things when it seems like we have rooms full of people that should be doing that, that should be getting the community input, that should be, getting that information to us, and then that we can call before council, department heads. And so, like I said, I feel that bad for you guys that have to stand before us today because you were hired to do a job that you're doing. So if there's any kind of breakthrough, and I do want to emphasize, and I agree with Councilman Henderson about we have to be careful with these things about death by 1,000 cuts. That you can't let perfect get in the way of getting these things done, but also we have to do it in an orderly fashion, and we have to be able to we have to have that tool to be able to get the community input. So it seems like where this one off the rails was not necessarily at these meetings, but somewhere before that when we elected to kind of contract out community input. Is this something we normally do? I mean, we have a private company doing PR for a publicly funded project. That just seems odd to me. And maybe it's me being a neophyte or just dumb to the process or maybe ambivalent to it in my past, but that just doesn't smell right to me. It seems weird to me.
Thank you very much. And I've heard from many sides, and we'll hear more, and we'll hear from you. But when this motion was initially brought up through a former council member that championed this, I supported it, we supported this, and I remember saying the community deserves this, and the community has asked for this, and it's been long overdue. Councilwoman Henderson is right. We can't further delay it. I understand there's concerns, but I want this done. I want to see this done. I want to see this done on schedule. People have been waiting. The money has been committed. It's a big project. It's a well-deserved project. The community wants it, and I want to see it done. Councilmember Vieira, I saw your hand go up, then Miranda.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just very briefly, and thank you for that. I want to echo what our chairman said, which is that we all support this, and I want to see this move forward. When some issues came up on the cost, and I think, by the way, we all want to be as fiscally responsible as possible. Obviously, look at the budget hearing that we had a few days ago, and we certainly have a mandate in that regard of things that we have to do. But this is, to me, a park that, in a park effort, that has a very unique, including historical purpose. I'd mentioned that, ironically, maybe a couple weeks before we talked about this a few months ago, I was reading the Kerner Commission report instituted by Lyndon Johnson in the late 1960s, and it talked about the city of Tampa and the death of Martin Chambers in 1967, I believe it was. And one of the suggestions it said was that East Tampa, it says, needs more parks and recreation. And you look at this is a big deal. This is a really big deal for East Tampa. When we say that we want to help out the families of East Tampa, that we want the kids to have something to do, that we want to make sure that we have a statement to the city of Tampa that says that East Tampa matters, and that the city of Tampa is going to be investing tax dollars with a kind of investment that other parts of the city aren't going to get. And I say that as something good, right? That's what this thing stands for. So when we talk about the origin of this and things that happened 2 years ago, et cetera, I get that. I totally get that. But this is something that is really, really good. Let's focus on the positive. Let's take care of those community concerns. But this is a historic win for East Tampa and for people who want more equity in the city of Tampa and more inclusion. That's my view. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you very much.
Before I go to Councilman Miranda, I will tell you, this is a non-negotiable for me. This park will happen, and it will happen on schedule. Just like public safety in the back, there are priorities that need to be done. Because in this city, as I've seen in the last 8 years, when somebody wants something done, it gets done. And I can make many examples. This is a very important part. Councilman Miranda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just listening, you go back, and I supported this from the beginning. However, every time we go out somewhere, people ask us, how come you're spending that kind of money? And I say it's an opportunity to change things around so that everybody can have an opportunity to do what they want to do and prosper like everybody else. But in saying that, when you have a family that's split, decisiveness, you have no family. So be careful with what you're doing and how you're doing it, because don't come to me and ask me for more money, because the answer is going to be no. I'm just telling you that right now. I don't care if it's a nickel or a dollar or $5. It's going to be no. So I want it done right. I want it done the first time. And I want to see 5,000 changes just because somebody wants a bathroom colored green, it's purple or whatever. So these are the things. You're getting something no one has. Just take a step backwards and say, look what's in front of me. You're going to have something that maybe you get a grocery store, maybe you get something else, because now you have obvious, you have things that are new, they're coming up, and that's all you can ask for. So this is an opportunity for you to do for yourself. We just gave you the open door to go do it. And in that area, if you're going to debate about it all from now till I grow hair, it's not going to happen. So what I'm saying is you better get together and you better work as one. That's all. And I'm a warning. I'm just saying that's what I feel. Thank you all very much for attending.
Councilwoman Hurtak, Councilwoman Henderson.
No, she's already spoke twice, so you got to go through. Robert's Rules of Order says that.
I want to hear Janelle McGregor.
Okay, yeah, but she's already spoke
All right,
twice.
go.
So every other council member
Go.
has to make sure they get.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, it's just a rule.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say, in terms of even the comment about entrances, this facility is huge. Think about it from a senior perspective. If you got to go in just one way, that's going to be a problem, because there are seniors who are using this park. You got to have a lot of entrances and exits. I don't want you to think that this is a small park. It's how many square feet? 30 something? 34,000 square feet. So when they design those entrances and exits, just because somebody up here said, well, they don't like it or you don't like it or 5 people, there needs to be hundreds of people complaining about something for a design change, not 1 or 2 people making a phone call. Because you got to understand, the capacity of this park is 34,000 square feet. I just want you to think about that. So you're going to need a couple of entrances. Yeah. Okay, that's all I want to say. Thank you.
It concerns me that council members up here are saying being careful for asking what you want. I say no. Ask for what you want. Tell us now. I do not plan on postponing this. It will happen. But here's the thing. I do not believe in the sentiment of you get what you get and you're happy with it. And that is exactly what I feel the community telling me. If this project was in South Tampa, that would not be happening. So I think you should say what you want to say, and you shouldn't feel the threat. But we aren't going to postpone this project. But you should not feel that your voice isn't being heard. Say whatever you want to say today.
Ms. McGregor, yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Council. Janelle McGregor, Director of Community Engagement and Partnerships. Thank you all so much for allowing me to address you today.
Can I bring him on?
To add some reassurance, Councilwoman Hurtak, we've heard you loud and clear. Our team has been really paying attention to what Nelson has done hand in hand with their PR consultant to learn how we can further be nimble and expand our services to the community. Our mission in community engagement is to bring City Hall to the community. And thanks to my small but mighty team of 4, one being Vanessa Nettingham, who will be working hand in hand with Skanska on the remainder of this project, we're here to do so. Prior to this pre-design exercise taking place, we worked very closely with the neighbors in that area once we learned that there was not an active neighborhood association. And that was important because that builds capacity. That ensures that more voices will have the opportunity to weigh in on such a monumental project. And I would say that this isn't anyone's project but our community's project. And we want to celebrate and we want to make sure that everyone is part of this process. Similar to the Hannah Avenue site, which is also a vertical construction within a specific fence line, our team worked very diligently to launch an e-newsletter. So Councilwoman Hurtak, I got really excited when I heard you mention the monthly lunches. I think that's something we should definitely work toward. Because when we have an informed community, we have an engaged community. And when we say informed, it doesn't always have to be in the sense of what a complaint is, but just knowing when the walls are going up. Being able to celebrate alongside the process. And that's what I'm proud of my team for being able to do across the city, and we look forward to joining in on that excitement with the community and every one of you there on the dais. Thank you so much.
We are going to celebrate, and it's going to be a collaborative effort, and we're going to like it because this is good for the community.
Can you speak to the priority of the mayor for Fair Oaks Park versus Al Barnes? There was some conversation up here earlier about that. Can you speak on that, Janelle, about the initial concept back in 2020, from my understanding that she was a champion for Fair Oaks from the very beginning?
Well, I'm prepared today alongside Skanska to talk about the public engagement process as it relates to this specific project and how we can continue to work together collaboratively to share that information and to move everything forward as outlined in the motion today.
All right, before we go to public comment, do we have anybody registered online? All right, I'll go back and ask. All right, if someone is here, or anyone is here to speak on public comment, anything on the agenda, including this topic, please come up, state your name, and we will hear from you.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Please state your name.
Montez Knott. I want to say I don't care how contentious it gets in here. You cannot talk to African people in a condescending manner. I know y'all don't like no name calling, but it's a bunch of African women in here, and I'm hearing from our district, I'm hearing condescending. And it shouldn't be that way. Because if somebody talk to my mother like that or my daughter, that's all I got to say. You got to respect African women. You got to respect African women. We got it hard enough without inside a meeting and getting disrespected. I don't care what you're here for. I don't care what you think. I don't care. You got to think. These women took their time to come down here. And you got to respect them. Plain and simple. But what I'm here to talk about today is child support. I want to say the most important aspect of African life for the past 31 generations or 623 years is freedom, independence, and self-determination. There's nothing beyond those objectives. But there are some subtitles and subject matters all humans have to be connected with because those are the things that dictate our current existence and future quality of life. Those things are capitalism, socialism, and for all indigenous people internationally, reparations. The United States of America for the past 400 years have used various methods of oppression to control the African and other populations such as chattel slavery, convict leasing, Indian removal acts, Indian adoption acts, the prison industrial complex, Tuskegee syphilis experiment against African people, Jim Crow, black codes, the Ku Klux Klan, grandfather clauses, and currently the United States government through the Social Security Administration have been using a low-level eugenics program called child support. Most African people, specifically African men, are unfairly and adversely affected by the unconstitutional activities of the child support programs. I'm appealing to this city council to summons the new Chief Judge Christopher Sabella, before the Tampa City Council to discuss ways of eliminating the child support system from the 13th Judicial Circuit of the city of Tampa. Child support is the biggest ongoing organized crime racket in the entire United States of America that is being carried out by the fourth branch of government that is outside the standard legislative, executive, and judicial branches of government. Child support is racist and unconstitutional. But for the past 48 years, the federal, state, county governments, the Social Security Administration, Title 4D program, and the state of Florida Department of Revenue Child Support Enforcement Program have been able to carry out thousands of illegal acts ranging from driver's and professional license suspensions, passport cancellation, wage garnishment, all the way to illegal incarceration. It's incumbent upon this Tampa City Council to thoroughly investigate the illegal activities of the Child Support Enforcement Program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Ms. Lucas, we have one registered speaker? All right, we have one registered speaker. Go ahead, sir. If you can hear us, please state your name. You have 3 minutes, and we'll go right to you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, can you hear me, sir?
Please state your name, sir.
Former Tampa City Councilman Orlando Gooch calling in.
Go ahead, sir. You have 3 minutes.
Yes, sir. I've been listening to the comments, and over the last 6 months as I've been gone, I've heard a lot of conversation about the East Tampa Regional Park. I don't call it Fair Oaks because it was never intended to be a Fair Oaks, but there was a compromise between myself, the mayor, and Mr. Bennett because the original plan was for Al Barnes Park. Compromise was made for gymnastics for our young people. I don't know what a level 1 gymnastic is. My idea was to have what New Tampa had, like the other facilities in Tampa had. This place is supposed to be built for the seniors, but with our children included. The seniors has been spoken on the campaign trail, and they spoke to you all several times. They told you what they wanted. I met with Ms. Wynn and Ms. Janelle McGregor about the communication. It's been bad from the beginning, and that has been noted. Ms. Wynn knows that. The community has felt they have not had their voices heard. They go to meetings. They cannot ask questions. I don't know what kind of meeting you go to where the community can't ask questions or told this is what it is. I want the project done. It's supposed to be a groundbreaking in August. We're still waiting. But the community should not be held hostage to say, like we do all the time, just tell black folks, they get what they get and shut your mouth. You got what you're going to get, and that's going to be it. That just can't be. This is supposed to be the pinnacle park of this city. It was supposed to be the wow factor of this city. And it should be that. I know the dollar amount was high, but other projects are high. And I contend to listen to the seniors, give them what they want before they go on. They've been asking for it. I want the project to move forward, but it needs to be moved in a way and have the ideal things that they asked for, what the children wanted. Gymnastics so they can go to college, but not a level one. I don't know what that is. The seniors did not want to be with children. They've made that clear. They wanted to be away from that. So I asked this council to do what you've heard in the past. You know what your assignment is. I ask that you get it done and do it effectively and officially. God bless you all.
Thank you very much. All right. Pastor Williams, please state your name, and you have 3 minutes, sir.
Yes, my name is Pastor Frank Williams, located at 1112 East Scott Street, Paradise Missionary Baptist Church, which I pastor. But you know what?
Please silence your cell phones. No, not you, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. You know, I'm glad y'all are basically talking about East Tampa. First of all, East Tampa, I live in East Tampa. My church is located in East Tampa. But it seems like y'all don't want to do a heck of a lot about East Tampa. You do about every other part of the Tampa, but when it comes down to East Tampa, y'all get solid. You don't support us with money, don't support us with nothing. And we have to come down here begging day after day after day. I come down here on my crutches because I don't like the way things being run. Y'all got all them retention ponds in Belmont Heights and Jackson Heights. You need to fill them up. Build some schools, build some houses, build some churches, build some stuff that is necessary. And that's what I'm standing for. I'm standing up for righteousness for all people, not just black African American people, but all people. Treat us equal, like you treat yourself. And we'll be all right. We'll be happy. We'll be satisfied. We'll show y'all a new dance if we can. But I can't dance like I used to no more. So y'all can see me with my wheelchair here, walking with it, trying to make it one day at a time. But I thank God for this one day. You know, it's a blessing for all of us to be here. Instead of cutting us down, help us. And you want to know how you can help us? Fill in those retention ponds. You only got them in Belmont Heights. Why don't you put them downtown? Chill. And we'll be happy, but we need y'all to come here and take care of all of us, like we're citizens of the United States of America, and stop treating us like slaves. Yeah, we just want to go, hey, Labor Day. What Labor Day mean? I've been going to school, and I never understand what Labor Day is about. What is Labor Day about? One of y'all can tell me right quick, before my time is up. What is Labor Day about?
You want to tell me?
But you really need to put up a day called Slave Day, because that's the way y'all treat us, like we're all slaves, like we ain't got good sense. But we're asking you now to change your agenda, treat us all equal, and treat us like citizens of the United States, and we'll be happy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, next speaker, Mr. Hagan. Please state your name. You have 3 minutes.
Good morning, council. Almost afternoon, but I appreciate we got that discussion to talk about, and I think that was really helpful for me to listen to, and I wouldn't have if I was just out of here by 9:30. So that was helpful. I don't know what happened on Tuesday. I'm not here to talk about it. I will never understand why we didn't wait a week to fix the budget and then talk about $50 million towards housing. But I'm not going to talk about that today. We have a $10 billion housing problem. And I back into that math in a very intuitive way. Let's say we have 50,000 homes that we're short on. I think we all agree we're short on some number of homes. What is that number? I think a lot of experts would agree 50K is a good number. We have that many people moving here every year, and in 10 years we haven't been building housing. So that's a good number. Let's say it takes $200,000 to build a home. In the last 3 years, the cost of construction has gone up 50%. I don't know if you've looked at the Fed charts on housing input costs, but they go up a lot recently. That's part of why we have a housing crisis. 200,000 seems modest. 50,000 times 200,000 is 10 billion. We have a $10 billion housing problem today that is getting worse every day. With 150 people moving here today, a day. That's 150 times 200,000 that we should be building every single day. These are big numbers. $50,000 was not going to fix that. It was never meant to fix that, but it was meant to help people who are in emergency situations who the city can help. I'm optimistic that we can get whatever money we can from moving things around. I really, really hope to God that will happen as it was promised when we said no to the millage increase. I really hope to God that we get that money. But that's not why I'm here. You have two budgets in the city. You have your money budget and you have your land budget. I tell people, because I work on land use issues as an activist, you are a glorified land use board. Yes, you also deal with the budget, and this month we're dealing with a lot with the budget, and you approve things for the budget all the time. You approve contracts. That's the money budget part of your job. The land budget is the other part of your job. If we can't raise $10 billion for our money budget, where are we going to get it from? Well, we have a lot of land that the city regulates. And by banning apartment complexes in 70% of the city, we've accumulated billions of dollars of entitlements that were locked behind our land use code. The way that we use our land, the way that this board, regulates our land in the city has denied housing for a lot of people for a long time. But the silver lining is that you can put that development potential back into the community. So when you ask for where are we going to get the 9.9 whatever billion that we need to fix it outside of the city budget, consider the fact that you are sitting on, this is the only board that matters for this. The mayor doesn't even matter for this. You're sitting on billions of dollars on development incentives to force developers to build affordable housing. That's what the flu plan update is about. So when we talk about $50 million for affordable housing, we need that today. But I hope that you understand how significant and how much opportunity there is in the flu update coming this month. And I'm looking forward to meeting with you all about that and talking about that specific policy.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Humera Afzal, and I'm here to talk to you. I saw that there is a line item. There's an agenda item. It's item number 7, and it regards spending $133,000 on a bike and pedestrian safety program. I am all about bike and pedestrian safety. I just question the value of spending the money on this particular thing when we have all kinds of things that we should be doing regarding bicycle and pedestrian safety that we aren't doing. Also, that $133,000 would go well towards paying for a quick build or building sidewalks, say in Sulphur Springs, or maybe building a safe way to get to this park that is going to be built in East Tampa. So I'm questioning how that money is spent. I also question why are we not enforcing stuff that's
Can we
already
please silence
on the
cell
books?
phones? Thank you.
This is just down the street. This is very common. We spend money building these bike lanes, but we let people park in them for hours on end. We do nothing to enforce it. I was going to make a collage of porta potties blocking sidewalks, but I stopped with 4. This is everywhere. That truck sat there for 2 hours. Today it's mostly pictures of bike lanes. I have hundreds of pictures of cars parked on sidewalks. This is on the Cass Street quick build. That car sat there for a very long time. And police officers drove by and did nothing. This is the norm. This just happens to be my particular neighborhood. There's usually at least 6 cars parked blocking this sidewalk. There are people who rely on this sidewalk. There's a lady who lives in my neighborhood who can only walk her dog when the sidewalk is clear because she's a bit unstable when she's older and she has a hard time walking. But she can only walk her dog when the sidewalk is clear. This is in Hyde Park. Every time I go by here on my bike, I actually move this. I come back next time, it's there again. There's another one. Oh, I'm running out of time. Police officers parked in the bike lane. They were not on a call. They told me they were on a call. They were not on a call because I stood there and watched them before I took the picture. This one. it got enforced. There was no, this isn't the one that got enforced. Mind you, there's a police officer right over here. See all these cars parked in the bike lane? Nothing was done. I guess I'm out of time. But instead of spending money on things like programs to do I'm sorry, I sat here for a long time. Let's see that we're actually enforcing the rules that we have and protecting the sidewalks that we already have. Let's not spend millions of dollars building sidewalks and just let people park on them.
Thank you very much.
Can you see my aide Tim with that location of the Hyde Park Valet sign when you leave? I'll get Tim to meet you out there.
It's in front of On Swan. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Tate.
Good morning, council members. I am Fran Tate, Neighborhood Association President for the Jackson Heights area.
Yeah.
I am a devoted, volunteer, and concerned member of Tampa. I possess a high school diploma, a college degree, and a certification, and I truly understand the definition of disrespectful. I'd like to go on record this morning and thank Councilwoman Hurtak for bringing this issue to the agenda, and all of you for your input. First, there needs to be another presentation where the community is truly listened to and suggestions are taken seriously. This is a diamond in our community, and we want to treasure it, we want to keep it clean, and we want to be happy in it. Is there an issue with us having another meeting with Skanska? We're asking for another meeting. The community, Jazzy Seniors, Jackson Heights, Fair Oaks, can you please raise your hand? All of you all that are in attendance today. We're Fair Oaks. We're asking for another meeting so that we will be heard. The project, we do want it to go forward on time. We want that. We've been waiting a long time, as someone said, decades. And that is true. I've been down here at least 10 years supporting the honorable mentor of mine, Betty Bell. We're asking that those that are conducting the meeting be respectful of us, treat us with dignity, don't cut us off, don't measure our comments. We're not children. We're grown-ups. We know what we need. We know what we want. Listen to us. We don't want to hinder the project. We really don't. We want to move in and we want to just enjoy it. But just listen. Don't give us what you want us to have. That's not right. That doesn't feel good. Thank you for your time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Good morning, City Council.
Good morning.
I am Betty Bell of Highland Pines and the Jazzy Seniors for the past 13 years, 1200 Lake Avenue. As you see, the seniors are here today. They are supporting me. And I want to say, first of all, the Jazzy Seniors never said they didn't like the building per se. What we asked for 12 years ago was for a building for the senior citizens, because we didn't have one. And we wanted one because there were so many seniors that didn't have any place to go. And now we have been down at Reagan Park for the past 12 years. Councilman Miranda has been down and danced with us. And we're inviting all of you to come down and do likewise. Now, the project itself, what I complain about, because I was at the last meeting, and I went to Kimberly after the meeting, and I asked her if I could ask her some questions. She said, the designers are here, go ask them. And I did walk over to one of the older gentlemen, and I told him my concern. My concern is not to have an open room with no space between it, with doors for each activity that the seniors would be doing. Because right now we are in open spaces. And the screaming, the hollering, the excitement that the seniors have. That was my main concern. Plus, we are now in a building with children. I didn't like that. But if that's the way it's gonna be, then it's gonna be that way, okay? We're gonna have to live with it. But nobody wants to stop a project that we've been trying to get for 12 years. 12 years. It's been a long, hard journey. And the mayor said she was gonna put a diamond in East Tampa that everyone could enjoy and love. Now, knowing that that diamond is going to be there, there's also going to be a price for people to rent that diamond. And I don't think the average citizen in East Tampa can pay to rent that building. It's gonna be a bit much for them. I know Riverfront is very expensive. So can you imagine? How many in here got $2,000 to $3,000 to rent a building? So make it compatible for us, all of us. I want it to be nice. We want to enjoy it. And I have 115 seniors, and they are not all here.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Geraldine Rogers Toombs, and I really wasn't planning to speak today because I think I had already expressed my concerns. And actually, the thing is that I didn't speak with Ms. Tate. She expressed the same sentiment I had regarding disrespect. And when you're having a public meeting, then it should be open for public comment. And also, the concern about the bird feces on the tables and chairs, I think that's a legitimate concern because we don't want the children to have bird flu or any other disease, and it's unsanitary. So why can there not be a canopy or a shelter or something built around those seats? But if we don't communicate, we can't even express that or discuss a concern, you know. And as far as the atrium is concerned, when you're talking about 2,000 square feet, to me, that's a lot of space. But if you can't discuss an issue, then how do you come to some resolution about it? Because they could have said, well, you know, that's a code enforcement. But if you just come and present information and say, well, this is the way it is, even though we're taxpayers, I'm a taxpayer, and I have been for almost over 40 years, yes. And so the bottom line is that I agree with Ms. Tate. I would like to be able to express some concerns that is not going to hinder the project. The mayor spoke on WTMP radio Saturday, and she said some minor changes to the project will not slow the project down. And, you know, and I'm of faith. And I believe in God, and he said that he has not given us a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. And so if we don't have knowledge, then how are we going to use the wisdom that he has imparted in us? And so when they came and did their presentation for about 20 minutes that day, they had plenty of time to open it up for the floor. So I have a problem with that. And as a taxpayer, I have a problem with that. And when I came and expressed my concerns, I wasn't representing anybody but myself. And Ms. Bell was concerned about that. So I just want to make it clear. And also, I want to thank you all for not moving forward the recommendation about limiting public comment. Part of your job is to hear what the people have to say. And I also want to say that, you know, that's important, because if you don't hear what our concerns are, how do you serve us? And so we need to make sure that our objectives is to serve the community. And there are people in East Tampa who can't afford to spend $2,000 or more to rent a property, but that's not the average person in East Tampa. I can afford to do practically anything that I desire to do, but it ain't about me. It's about our community and making things, society better for everybody. And I thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Please state your name. Go ahead.
Happy Thursday. My name is Sally Issy Lee, and I'm glad I made it on Senior Day. And I was just, I now don't feel so alone. And it's, it's very rarely that we seniors get to complain about anything. So I'm right with y'all down to what you want to do. I live on the other side of the town, but I'm still a senior. And I'm hoping that we can all get together and unite, because we still have another Hurricane Lee coming, and they named it after me, but I don't know why. But I would like to thank Tampa for the trees, and I feel like now I got a seed in the ground for inclusion and prosperity. And you all really need to, and I was looking at 82, I would like to meet the Chief Diversity Officer, because I have a few things, and I hope that we get included here in a Tampa, so that God can look favorably on us, not just a few, but all of us. And we really do need to unite for all of us to be saved. And I think y'all heard enough religion. And also, I would like to say, today I'm proud of being black. And there's a gentleman named Moses S. White. He has a foundation, and he makes water out of the atmosphere. He did it for Flint in Australia. And I just want to let you all know that little tidbit as to what we can do when we unite. And he's a veteran and an engineer. And you can buy a machine in case you run out of fresh water from Moses White, Moses S. West, from his foundation that will get water out of the atmosphere. And you can own the machine, and you can make as many gallons as you want in case we run out of water here in Tampa. And I hope that you all unite, all of us, and my organization, the Volunteer Missionary Society, and what the seniors want for their comfort in their last days and East Side, and we all need to get together and save Tampa. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, council.
Good morning.
My name is Carrie Hurst, and I am a East Tampa resident and a member of the Jazzy Seniors. I came into the Jazzy Seniors a couple years ago, and I heard about the anticipation of us getting a dedicated senior building. And so they were very excited, anticipating about the possibility of getting a dedicated senior center, because we were all meeting in this one big space all together. And our numbers just kept growing and growing. We are over 100 strong now. I think, and I know for me, I conceptualized a dedicated freestanding senior center. And I've seen this now evolve into a part of something greater, which I'm most appreciative of, the whole unit. But what I think what we're seeing is that our dream of having our own dedicated senior center has been dwindling. It seems like we've been pushed aside, put behind, relegated. And so I think I know my concept of what I thought we were getting has become something, a small part of something greater. But I am appreciative of what we are getting. I want to say that. But our concerns was that the situation, and I'm talking just for the Jazzy Seniors, I know it's all of East Tampa, but in our situation, we're in one big building, and everything is going on in one room. So we had, we were thinking about having separate rooms for different activities. Like we dance in the same room. We play bingo in the same room. Sometimes we got to cut the music down so the bingo can hear the call. So we thought we would have some separate areas, the breakout areas and stuff, and apparently that don't seem to be what is going to take place. So I'm not here to complain. I thank you. I appreciate what you're giving to East Tampa. It's just that the seniors had a concept of something that it doesn't seem like we're getting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Connie Burton. I want to be very appreciative of the way this meeting started with a young child leading us all, followed by, young brother Walter Smith and the challenges of that young man and the great opportunity that his leadership will be able to provide our community. And so it is in the spirit of that leadership that we embrace the Fair Oaks design, the Fair Oaks complex, where for me, when as getting close to 70 years old, to have the spark of laughter children is important for me. For me, it's important to see that children that is separated from grandparents can see inside of our community the love and care of elders in our community that have an integral part in their lives, if it ain't nothing more than saying hello. That is necessary in our community. We have a hill to climb, and hopefully, for me, limiting the separation that divides our community based on generational issues, whether it is the music, whether it is the dress, the style. Something has happened in our community that has divided us and moved us in different sectors. So I hope that this center will be able to start doing some healing around that. As it relates to the agenda today, I'm always saying that if this city is moving huge amount of monies in contracts, that somehow in order to build and end the disparities economically, if we can start hearing a report from some of those that receive those awards, have they been able to hire any people inside of our community? I'm not a business owner, but what I do know that when people have jobs, that takes away from a lot of idleness in our community. And in spite of all of the efforts that has been happening, whether it is prayer vigils, gun buybites, the elimination of poverty is going to be the saving grace for young people. When young people can have jobs and start building futures, can move into more mature relationships, buying homes, it has to start with the foundation that we're able to stabilize ourselves economically. So thank you for your time this morning.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Good morning, City Council. My name is Verlene Drayton. I'm here on behalf of Verlene Drayton. On behalf of my community, Fair Oaks Park. We not 115 strong like the Jazzies, but we here to let you know with our little voices, we want to be heard with that voice. We do want this park to be built. We need this park in our community. Well, I've been there 60 years, because I'm 60 years now. I've seen all those oak trees get chopped down. I've seen the penny soda store get shared away. I've seen other areas, homes destroyed, gone, bought, sold, whatever. And here we still talking about getting this park built. And I followed this stuff and watched how y'all started in 2019, 5.3 million, 2020, 33.9 million, 2021, 41.3 million. I lost track of 2022. So here today we are 2023 and we have 41 million. And the only thing we got is destruction in the neighborhood. It don't look like nothing gonna be built there. And everybody that says the longer we take, we all know this price of 41 million, it's gonna go up. And before we know it, this project ain't gonna happen. And the community gonna still look like it's looking now. Garbage. Nobody's gonna come here and build nothing. You can't even get a private person to come put a grocery store that is needed in this neighborhood. I've seen every grocery store disappear. I've left the area and come back. I ain't seen no changes. I ain't seen any changes in our neighborhood. I'm not understanding. Like they say, please make it make sense to me and the rest of us that's here today. That's all I gotta say.
That's right. All right. Okay.
Your name, please?
I'm Annie Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
And I am a resident of East Tampa. I've been there for over 50-something years. I am a part of Fair Oaks Rec Center. And the Fair Oaks members did attend all of the meetings, okay, that took place, and we did provide input. We were at the final meeting, some of us, and we were satisfied with what was said and the approach that was made for us to provide input, okay? We were satisfied with it, and we were ecstatic that the start date was gonna be in January, okay? And the completion date that was shared with us was 18 months, I believe, right? And, you know, we heard during the last 5 or 6 days about the concerns about the project and that it could possibly not move forward in January. So we were concerned. We were told we needed to come to this meeting so we could get a clear understanding of what the problem was and what we needed to state how we felt about it. As far as Fair Oaks is concerned, we would like to move forward with it if there are changes that need to be made, and it's not gonna cost anything, and it's not gonna delay the process. Fair Oaks would like to move forward with it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
In another 15 years, when I turn 50, I'm gonna need one of those shirts.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Please state your name.
Good afternoon, Keela McCaskill. You know, as I've worked over the years with Jazzy Seniors and some of the neighborhood associations, I received the calls. All of them weren't as pleased as the last speaker. You know, I was raised by 7 grandparents, fortunate to be raised by 7. The last one left me at 112 years old a couple years ago, which is why I got involved with the seniors in the first place. And one that I dearly admire is Miss Betty Jean Bell, Jazzy Senior, who's been on the front line advocating for this park forever. What I witnessed as an individual that's involved in development, I'm very involved in community engagement. I believe no other neighborhood would have accepted the treatment and the level of disrespect that was conducted throughout the meetings that I attended. And I was present, I just didn't make the last one. And so it was piss poor, in my opinion. So maybe there was satisfaction, but the mindset in when people approach or work in the East Tampa community is just accept, even if it's subpar, just be glad somebody want to do something in your district. I want that to change. I want that to change, even in the way you approach development, activities, community engagement. There really wasn't sufficient community engagement. Yes, you went and got a couple black businesses and you supported them and you brought them forward. But true community engagement wasn't there. The first meeting, I had to say, well, where is the rendering of what you were awarded this contract on? Where is the first pick? Show us what you got approved based on. Nothing. Second meeting, nothing. They brought ideas. You can put your question marks, put it on a card, go to the tablet, do this, do that. Community engagement was not there. Community engagement means they get to be involved. They ask them what they want, but they didn't tell them based on these parameters, what we were approved based on, this is what you can have. Now fill in what you would like. It wasn't a true community engagement. No, don't stop the project because you wouldn't stop it anywhere else. But I do believe they need another opportunity to have some type of an engagement to make certain what they're saying they would like and hazard and any other things that might be addressed. Because I can't foresee walkers, wheelchairs, all that in the same area where children are. That's a hazard in the first place. But how it's presented, it will be in the same space. So again, I just believe they should have another opportunity to have another meeting with community engagement where what they have to say is welcome. It's their money that paid into that district. Yes, the city gave it to them, but they paid into tax incremental funding for years and 20, 30, 40 years plus. You ain't giving them nothing. They paid into this district. They deserve a part that they can give their input. That's all I have to say based on community engagement. And again, I just believe it was disrespectful. I've been to meetings on Bay Shore. I've been to Davis Island Harbor. Nowhere else have I seen this level of disrespect and community engagement. Skanska should be ashamed of themselves, but you all get the opportunity to do something about it. Give them another meeting and do not delay the project.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Please say your name. You have 3 minutes.
Good morning. My name is Stephanie Pointer. I'd like to point out to you that there is intention versus perception, and the intention of Skanka was to do a good job.
Thank you.
The perception of these ladies, primarily ladies out here, was that they didn't. So we have to get in the middle and fix it. This is not my issue, this is what I see as somebody who's observing. I think these ladies need to be heard and they deserve it. I would like to bring up to you, $5.5 million was approved for housing 1 year ago yesterday. I have brought this up, this is the third time. I would like to know who's going to make a motion to move that money out of solid waste into housing. Please raise your hand if you're going to do it, because you are the people who can do that. I'm going to use my teacher voice because my teacher friends have used their teacher voice this morning. Every single one, all 7 of you have the ability to make a motion to move this money today. Who's going to do it? All right, Guido, you get it. Ding, 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 ding. I'll give it to Mr. Shelby at the end so that we can, so you don't forget. That's why I made it on green paper. I gave you this poop colored paper here. I like the poop color. It's very unusual color. There's a couple things I want to talk about with our budget. All the items that are spent that are in the budget are in the agendas for the Tampa City Council each week. They need to have an account number next to it. I sent you an email about this. Every time we move money, they get it. Somebody in the budget department gets that little number to move the money from budget number 1 to budget number 1001. We should be able to see where that money moves from. I'd like to point out that item number, I think it's number 18. There's $1 million, that's on the front side, I'm sorry, I'm switching back and forth. There's $1 million to be spent at the Adelaide pumping station. It's not in last year's budget, and it's not in this year's budget.
It may
They
be
can
part
spend
of
the money on whatever they want.
The stormwater assessment, I think it would be coming from that. I'll ask about that.
But again, that goes back to my first request, which is let's put the line item numbers there so we know where to look for it. But when I did a keyword search for Adelaide, there's nothing in either one of those documents that says that that's going to happen. And then we wonder where all of our money goes. It's going to projects that aren't in the budget. We have to keep an eye on this. This is becoming a problem. But I gave you this, and the 600 pages worth of fees, we need to get our department heads started on this. It's not going to take 5 minutes. Somebody needs to make a motion that the department heads are starting to work on it now, because it's going to take days, maybe even weeks. And I'm looking forward to Chief Bennett giving us our department wish list. He said they have it.
Ms. Pointer, that motion will be coming from me later today about your numbers.
You're going to make the $5.5 million motion? We'll work it out. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Please say your name.
Good morning. My name is Noreen Copeland Miller, and I am a property owner in Belmont Heights
Yes, ma'am.
for over 30 years. And I've heard a lot of passion in here this morning. I'm just really excited that some of you council members have spoken up in favor to do something in East Tampa. But I want to say this, and I want to openly thank Councilman Vieira for this morning. This really made my day, because the cemetery is very passionate for me. And I thank some of you all that came out for that celebration. So I know you're concerned about Bama Heights, Jackson Heights, Galloway Heights, all of that. I'm here. I hear people saying they were angry, disrespected, blah, blah. I've been disrespected for I don't know how many years, 70 years. I am excited that we get anything built in East Tampa. Okay, I'm tired. I have wore myself out meetings after meetings after meetings. We are dragged around the block all the time, and what do we get out of it? Absolutely nothing. The skills center is coming up one day, but if you all gonna build a complex, build it. We don't need any more meetings. They've had meetings after meetings after meeting and get nothing done but wasting taxpayer dollars, wearing people out. We are, as they say, seniors, we're all moving on. I would like to see it built in my lifetime. But if we keep all this talking, we get nothing. I am tired. I've been coming down here 20-some years or whenever in my community, 30, 40, 50 years in meetings, look in East Tampa. Nothing happens but meetings, talking, dragging us around the block. And I'm not angry but I'm passionate. And I don't feel disrespected from what happened at Fair. I just feel disrespected because my community is being ignored. And that's enough for everybody in the room to be disrespected or feeling some kind of way, but we're not. We're down here talking about a center. Build it, and they will come. And we know children are our future. And if we don't want children in there, then I have 7 grandchildren, 10 great-grands, whatever. I want to be around my children. And I need that energy because they remember, they have a lot of creativity, but it does something for your youth just to be around and all-inclusive. We got so many disparities in East Tampa, as you say. Build. All this talking, I'm tired of talking. I want to see action. So if you're going to build it, please do so. We welcome it. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I'm Bishop Michelle B. Patty. I'm also the host of What's Really Happening that was alluded to that the staff used to come and speak to the community. I stood here 3 years ago with Ms. Connie Burton and Jay Johnson and asked for Fair Oaks to be built. There was no one else standing at this podium to support that. The former Councilman Orlando Goose, even some of the Jazzy seniors, they fought against it. They wanted air bonds. We went on and brought you all out to Fair Oaks, showed you the rats, Councilman Carson, and the problems that was at Fair Oaks. And I want to thank Joe Robertson, who was the engineer, to say that the place was unsafe. It fell on deaf ears. We were told then there would not be money enough to accomplish this. It was the mayor who went out, yes, Mayor Jane Castor, and I lobbied, and I went to each and every one of you all that was on council. Whether you saw me in the hallways, I came to your office. I came alone personally asking that this be done for this community. Now we talk about disrespect. Those meetings, they were held, as you heard, people came. The disrespect would be that the hundreds of people that showed up, that has to be at work today, if you overlook what they have to say, what you're doing now is pitting the seniors against those folks. You're dividing and trying to conquer. Everyone knows that if you stop a project, and you have change orders, thank you, Charlie Miranda, for pointing out there is no money. It will cost, every delay will cost, and this council who just voted down the millage and who's talking about increasing the rates for you to come to the park, you would say that, I'm sorry, there's no money, because right now you're in the hunt to look for $45 million to help relieve housing. So stop fooling these people. Stop letting people come up here who has hidden agendas talking about their feelings being hurt. This is about taxpayers. No, you cannot build a facility and say it's only going to be used by a certain amount of people. All people are welcome. That includes children, seniors, and everyone. And if you don't want to be at a facility where children are, I suggest you stay home, but not on my dime. So what I'm telling you all, this should not be delayed because you saying you want to hear from the community. The community have spoken. It has spoken loud and clear on 3 occasions. And we should not stop it because of birds siege, because birds fly in the air and poop wherever they will. So this should not be stopped because of that. It should not be stopped because somebody all of a sudden talking about their feelings are hurt. That should not be. And for you to sit here, any council person, is disingenuous to sit here and say you want to hear from the community. The community has already spoken. Let's build the project.
Thank you very much. Anybody else for public comment? All right. That concludes public comment. We'll go on with the agenda. All right, item number 6. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Council. Emma Gregory, Legal Department.
We can't hear. Go ahead, ma'am.
Good morning, Emma Gregory, Legal Department. We're here for item number 6, which is a first reading of a proposed ordinance to update Section 25-74 to comply with Florida statutes. I believe that Vic is online. Should you have any
Yes.
questions for him?
Do we have any questions for Mr. Bide? Nope. Yes, ma'am?
Yes, I was curious, so this allows for impact fees to be taken out of specific districts and used elsewhere?
In accordance with Florida law, yes, that is the case. They can be applied to an adjoining impact fee district if there is a finding that the adjoining district derives a benefit from the project.
And who makes that determination?
The benefit determination would be made either by the mobility department director or his designee.
Okay, and so I guess I do have a question for Mr. Bide.
Morning, Council. Morning, Chair. Vic Bide, Director, Mobility Department. Go ahead, Councilwoman.
I just wanted to know who in your department would make that decision, and do you anticipate this being something that's used fairly often?
So, whether it will be used fairly often or not, we don't know yet, but we do know that this mechanism is quite useful. Oftentimes, impacts of a development may span beyond the district that they're in, especially if they're at the edge of a district. But it's a function of trip lengths, it's a function of the size of the facility and its impact as well. And also it's a function of the use. As to who within the department makes those decisions, ultimately that lies with the director by code, which is me, of course. But we have a team that looks at it. This includes transportation engineering. This includes our right-of-way permitting.
Can we please silence our cell phones, please? Again, sorry, sir, go ahead.
Sure. And this also includes members from our smart mobility team, especially when it comes to street lighting and intersection.
Okay, so this, okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions? Councilman Miranda, would you like to read item number 6?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Item number 6, file number E 2023/8, chapter 25. An ordinance being presented for first reading consideration. An ordinance in the city of Tampa, Florida, related to chapter 25, transportation, article 1, administrative provisions, amending section 25/74, exemptions from and credits for multimodal transportation impact fee, providing for repeal of all ordinances, part of ordinances in conflict therewith, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilman Miranda and a second from Councilman Vieira. Would you like a roll call vote? Yes, roll call vote.
I'm sorry, Hurtak,
Yes.
Clendenin,
Yes.
Henderson, Vieira.
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
and Maniscalco.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously with Henderson being absent at vote. Second reading and adoption will be held on October 5th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to the consent agenda. Public Safety Committee, Councilman Vieira, 7 and 8.
Yes, sir, I move items 7 and 8, sir.
We
Second.
have a motion from Councilman Vieira, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, Councilmember Hurtak, you are the Vice Chair of Parks and Rec. Would you
Yes,
mind moving those
I
items?
move items 9 through 16.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Hurtak, second from Councilmember Vieira. All in favor? Aye. All right, Public Works, items 17 through 29, except
19 and 29.
and 29.
So I move items 17 and 18 and 20 through 28.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Hurtak, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Remember, we pulled 19 and 29. They will come up later under staff reports. Finance Committee, Councilman Miranda, we pulled item 32 to go under staff reports, so we'll hear that later. Would you mind moving the other items?
Madam Mr. Chairman, items 30, 31, 33, and 34. Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Miranda, second from Councilmember Vieira. All in favor? Aye. All right, next up, we have Councilmember Carlson.
Move 35 through 56.
We have a motion from Councilmember
Second.
Carlson, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Councilmember Clendenin.
I move items 57 through 60.
We have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Vieira. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, can we have a motion for item number 61 to set this hearing for November 2nd, 2023 at 10 a.m.? We have a motion from Councilmember Vieira, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Councilmember, it's 12:15. I have a funeral at 12:30. It's a graveside.
I hope you're coming back.
I'm coming, I hope well,
Well, you said you had yours.
if anything happens to me.
You said you had a funeral, I didn't know.
No, not my funeral.
All right.
But can we come back from lunch at 1:45? Is that all right?
Got
Yes, sir. I have a request, if I may, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I have to take my mother to a medical appointment and leave her at about 3:10, 3:15 or so. Just in case for the Public Safety Master Plan, if staff is amenable to that, can we have that heard at the top of, after lunch? Would that be okay?
No.
We have some items that were pulled. Is that all right with the rest of council? All right, let's do that.
Thank you,
Let's
and
do
thank
that.
you, Council.
We also have firefighters here.
Yeah. we have-
That's, yeah, thank you,
All right,
Council.
we are in recess until 1:45. Yes, ma'am.